Awesome, huh?
I mean, I reviewed part of it.
I only saw this. I didn't see the other government council probably others.
It was
And
a
Harry,
separate
we need to do
message.
this.
Did you know? Oh,
Wow, okay.
And there is a delay. You don't need to watch the live stream, but it's happening now. So
Cool.
you know.
okay.
Hi, everybody.
That's out there, all the throngs.
The
This is
throngs of
One thing
fans.
for the whole governing council, right?
I couldn't hear you.
This is one
Yes,
document for the whole
Yeah.
council.
yes.
And
And
this
I
just
think I
happens
just
to be a second
printed
copy.
2 copies in case there was some need.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we are shy one member, two members, one unexpected. Do we know if Alex McKenzie is coming?
I didn't hear anything from him. I can text him and ask.
Okay, why don't you do that and then we'll get started.
Okay.
So Hannah, if it's
When?
live streaming like this, and
It's like a lot of
you have
videos,
somebody in
like
the
8
audience, do
videos.
you have to now let them in?
10,
Uh,
10
if they
videos.
join the Zoom meeting,
Well,
yeah.
let's say they wanna
No,
go,
there's
yeah,
no
like
waiting room,
public,
is there?
if they wanna go like a public comment and they're on this, how do you let them in?
No, in fact, maybe you should have instructions that
So-
said that if they want to participate, if you haven't done it already, they should still participate.
So
through
there's
Zoom.
no waiting
Zoom.
room. We
Yeah.
already have Justine and Dr. Smith are here. So they would just join the meeting if they want to
Okay.
speak.
If they
Okay.
join after the public input section, it's not a relevant question.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
because-
no, I just meant like during public,
I'll
Yeah.
ask if there's any members of the public on the Zoom. I'll ask them if they want to make
Okay.
a comment.
Alex?
Do you have a pre-meeting question?
I have the topic question.
Excellent.
Would it be wise to send out a parent square explaining all this?
Maybe, I just got it to work. We'll
Okay,
see if
but
it
I
even
think-
works.
I think parents might benefit from knowing that
Yeah.
to comment, they have to go on Zoom, but they're also webcast.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's good.
And probably to put them on the website too, like as what are the rules to engage
all on.
with the.
Oh, the rules,
No, to
yeah.
engage with
that
the
makes
meeting
sense.
as a.
Hi, Alex.
As public.
Okay. Calling the meeting to order.
Okay.
At 5:32, our secretary is traveling. This is being recorded.
And
So
AI is enabled, the transcript is enabled.
one way or another, we'll get some minutes done. We have a volunteer to read our mission and vision, please.
I'll read it.
Thank you, Alex.
At Aldo Leopold Charter School, the human and natural environments serve as text and lab for learning through direct experience, inquiry, and stewardship. Vision, Aldo Leopold Charter School graduates will use the skills, perspectives, and information they gain at school to enhance their own lives and to advance social, economic, and environmental sustainability.
Thank you very much. I would prefer dispensing with you guys having to say here as I call your name. Does anybody know a reason that we have to do a roll call like that?
Maybe for people listening, they can't see it.
What's the alternative?
People can see it on Zoom, right? We have the owl working. The alternative is what every other meeting I ever attend is, and that is the secretary records who's present. And it's reflected in the minutes.
But there's no
And the
secretary.
minutes will reflect that Secretary R. Jim McIntosh is not here. Great, thank you for letting me say the minute that way. The August meeting minutes were emailed. That is our next agenda item. Does anybody have any comments, corrections, changes to those minutes? Seeing, hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve the minutes
Sebastian.
from past agenda.
Thank you.
From past meetings, sorry.
It's been moved and seconded by Alice McKenzie. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
I'm gonna abstain because I didn't.
One abstention. They pass anyway, 3-0 with an abstention. Item 4 is our agenda review. Does anybody need any more time to review the agenda? In that case, any requested changes to the agenda?
We're gonna do the student
Yeah,
report.
I think I would, rather than just call it public comment, make it its own thing. So
So
I'd like to.
Let's
insert
put
between-
student report in front of staff report after business manager report. Fair?
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Excellent. And we'll put that there. Oh, right, Justine, you have a standing issue that we couldn't accommodate, so
She goes first.
we will try to endeavor to make you go first every time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I note that motion.
Alex T.
A second.
And Sebastiano seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Okay, public comment, and I still see no members of the public on Zoom.
I nailed
Here
it.
present, I see
Yes.
Wayne Sherwood.
Yep, yep. So what I'm here for is to talk about an MOU with Public Charter Schools of New Mexico again. This is something that we did last year as governing board training, and you get your training hours. There has been some changes this year. Instead of 8 hours of training, you now only need 5 hours of training if you're a returning governing board member. New governing board members will still need the 10 hours of training. Or,
Not 8?
or,
I think they need
yeah,
5 plus 3.
yeah, that's right. Sorry, 8 hours of training. And I can give all the hours of training in a group now instead of at a meeting like this, and we can individualize the training for your program, the school, whatever you want, and we can make it a little more intuitive, something a little more informative, I guess I meant, than sitting at a governing council meeting waiting for you to have questions, and we can do it either with the governing council meeting. We can set it up on a Saturday. So however you guys want to do that, it's basically set up for how does the governing council want to get their training. I would still hope that you would come up to the PCS&M workshop or in December, because I think it's very valuable also, and you'll get training hours there. But there's a lot more to this than just the training hours. We go way far and beyond. The big thing is right now, Kelly Callahan has already looked through the school's policy, and she is in the process now of guiding you on what needs added to the policy, and she can help give you some ideas of that information. So that's big. The second thing is you're under a renewal this year. PCS&M will look through your renewal application.
Kelly Callahan.
Kelly Callahan, which, by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with what Kelly started a charter school. So she was the director of a charter school for years. She worked for the charter schools division as the director for years. And now she is obviously working for PCS&M. So she has a ton of experience. And she, by buying, and you are paying for that. It is $4,750 for the governing board full mentor training, and you pay it in 2 different increments. Yeah, one in the fall and one in the spring. But as soon as we get this signed by you, Hannah's already sent me some of the stuff for the renewal. I get that to Kelly, and then we start that conversation of what needs to be, how do we make this go as smoothly as possible on the renewal coming up. And then also all the policies that she's already looked at from last year. Now we can start updating these policies. So those are the things that I see are the most important. The training hours now are probably not as crucial, because if you go up to Albuquerque at the Tamaya, which we all love, it's a lot of fun. You'll get
It
your
is at
5
the
hours.
exact same time as our renewal hearing, I
Yeah.
will point out.
It's going to be during that week, so you're already going to be up there. So to me, you're already there. May as well stay at the Tamaya for 3 nights. So
Wayne, would you explain option A, just so people know?
Yes.
That is in fact a choice.
There is another option, okay? And so the other option is just the 5 hours of training. You don't get all the extras. And it's $1,000 less. It's $3,750. So a little bit less, yeah, it's $1,000.
I was questioning, if we don't pay for the service, we don't get your help with renewal.
Correct.
That's correct. That's,
So.
Yeah.
Because doesn't the organization get a part of our funds? Like the-
We pay to belong to public charter
Right.
schools of New Mexico, and what they are primarily a lobbying group. And I meet with them weekly, and there's sort of an open forum for directors to ask questions of each other. I went to a leadership retreat that I'll talk about, but that is separate from this offering. So they offer me support as a director, but not specific renewal support. They did one training on renewals.
Alex T.
The training hours, either option,
Mhm.
it's 5 hours of training, and we can choose to take it in any form.
yeah,
That's
we could, yep. And you
So we
can do
say,
it.
For example, I think we all need a hours worth of training on fiscal, whatever.
Yep.
You can request that.
Yes,
And it's free online too. I thought she gave us a link for $5.
That's different training, right? The
Yeah.
training that's online is from Missy's group.
Right,
yeah.
but it's-
And it's
it
free,
fills
absolutely.
Yes.
Our requirements.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Sebastian,
Oh, yeah, because so the hours, the time that you spend with us at the meetings, those do not count as training anymore.
They do. They would. If you wanted to invite me to a meeting and like put me on the agenda, those would count as training hours. That is correct. They would.
But you actually need to talk about something that is a training.
So I see
to us, or
Justine
just-
getting
No.
super antsy.
Okay.
Maybe we
Exactly.
could let her do a report and then
Okay.
talk about all of this.
Or
We
both.
should have gotten it on the agenda.
so I was gonna propose something similar, which is that, hang on, that normally public input is not question and answer like this. I've let it go because I didn't put it on the agenda. But our internal discussion of the different options, I think we should do that during the input, during governing council input. Because it's really not a public comment.
Okay.
Okay.
But you said you have a
I do
public
have
comment?
public comment. I noticed on today's agenda, you have action items as bars, and I sit on the finance committee here at Aldo. And when I was on the Cobra School Board, any bars or any financial data, financial stuff, it always ran through the finance committee where it was presented to the government. So just a suggestion, it just has more you have more eyes looking at it and asking questions. And I know I always felt more confident as a board member voting on bars and things like that, knowing they had gone through the finance.
Thank you for the input. Is there any other public input?
So would be the questions to him part of the discussion later as well?
No.
No,
If
so
you
then that's
have a
okay
question
to
of
have,
him,
okay,
that's why I was letting it go.
that was my question.
But you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm also conscious of Justine's schedule, so.
Okay. Do you want me to leave this with
Yes,
you then,
please.
Harry? or
Yes,
I'll
definitely leave that
and
with
you guys
us.
can look at that. All right. Thank you, guys.
Will you be consulting your phone while you're
Yes.
throwing your disc?
I am. I will
Okay.
have it there.
If we have questions, we'll contact you.
Yes. All right.
Bye, Wayne. Thanks.
We will now move on to the business manager report. Thank you, Justine.
All right, thank you. Let me share my screen. Thank you. All right, so the reports we have tonight are for July 1st through August 31st, starting with the revenue report. I'd like to point out the actual column, looking at the actual revenues we have received as of August 31st. You can see that we haven't received any revenues in the federal or state funds. I will start doing those RFRs on Monday. I do them around the 16th of each month. So I'll be starting the first round for fiscal year 25 on Monday, and I do them monthly. So those revenues should be coming in continuously. But we, of course, have received our SEG for July and August, and a few student fees the past couple of months. We did receive Medicaid funding from the prior year. So for Q1 and Q2 of 2024, we did receive that. And then the SB9 and HB 33. Going on to the expenditure report, looking at the operational fund. I think the operational fund is looking really healthy with an available budget to actual balance of 424,000. I do have an increase bar tonight due to the unit value increase that was done at the end of June. We got a memo from PED. So they have increased that unit value, which increases the operational fund. You can see a few negative functions within the operational fund, and I've made sure to clear those up with that increased bar. So I do the quarterly reporting to PED in October. So they capture July, August, and September. And so I like to make sure that all the functions are looking positive and clean. Going further down on the expenditure report, you'll see some negative funds. And this is like Title I, that's just due to the benefits. It's hard to kind of calculate those benefits when inputting the salary into a fund. But I can ensure that that will be at zero by the end of the fiscal year. I'm going to kind of let those payrolls run through so I can draw down those funds, do the RFRs, and then once all the money is drawn down, I will zero out that fund. So what I mean by that is I'm going to move that expense to the operational fund. Idea B, we have a bar tonight to establish budget for Idea B, so that will not be negative by next month's report. Same thing with Title II. I'll ensure that that will be reclassified to the operational fund at year end. Let's see, we have a bar for the REC District Fiscal Agent. That is the Ed Fellows grant. So we do have a bar for that to establish budget. We also have a bar, I'm sorry?
Say again, that's for what?
For the Ed Fellows. It's an Ed Fellows grant.
Thank you.
So the
We
Ed
also,
Fellows- does anybody need an explanation
Yes,
of
I
what
do.
Ed Fellows is? So I got one of our aides into a program called Ed Fellows, where the state actually pays her salary plus a stipend for a mentor, plus a stipend for her,
Right.
so that she can move into, and she's taking classes at Western to become a teacher, and the state pays for that to help support the school and her in that teacher pipeline.
Thank you.
Sorry, Justine, go ahead.
no problem. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. We do have, the funds that you do see that have a zero budget, we do have bars except for the public school capital outlay, which this is the lease reimbursement. I think the application was due August 15th. So we probably will get those award letters November, December, I'm hoping. So that
I did
budget
get,
will probably stay negative.
Yeah, they have, that's the time frame you used to work on, November, December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have an estimate of 150,000 that we'll be receiving for that. Any questions on the revenues or expenses? Okay, I'm going to go on to the issued purchase orders report. These are the current open POs. Currently, again, I like to mention dollar. When you see dollar as the type, that is a reoccurring expense, and regular is a one-time expense. I'm sorry, I'm wondering what's going on with this gap. Let's see, I apologize.
Justine, I did make copies for everyone, so they do have it in paper form in front of them
It's a
too.
special.
Oh, okay.
It's one-time payments.
No, the first column is what the PO is for. But the
Okay, I don't know. I may have lost just like service or like the,
dollar is.
but it's back.
Now it's back, now your screen's back.
Okay.
Right?
I'm sorry?
All right, so the current open POs, that's currently what's open now, and so kind of changes every month as we pay things off and open new POs. I'm gonna go down to the bank account register activity report. This is on page 7. This is just for the month of August. I'm sorry, do you have a question?
Well, I want to make sure there aren't any because we had some side conversations about a couple of the POs, but I think we cleared it up.
So she's a contractor, not.
Michelle Wilcox is a contractor.
Okay. I haven't seen anything about the contract.
Can you, oh, we approved it.
So their contract you can find under the PO, so their contract
The
is
Hill Group.
through ACES. And then it is for $71,500.
Is that 12 months?
Yes,
And Michelle's is also 12 months.
Michelle's is also 12 months.
And there is another one, Dollar Adventure Experiences, which I guess it is, yeah. So is that for 12 months too? I mean, when it's $1 or it is every month? Every month.
Doesn't,
So she did say dollar is recurring. Which one are you talking about?
Is-
second page.
Second page, about 10 rows down from the beginning, 60,000.
Oh, Adventure Experiences is Will Tracy.
No, I know, but so it's recurring, how many times per year this recurs? Because, what does it mean recurring in this case?
In this case.
question.
Well, you have the contract, not just.
So when I mean recurring, it's not like, for example, Michelle Wilcox is gonna get 59,000 every month. That's the amount for the whole year. She can invoice, different amounts each month. Same goes for any of the other ones. It's not that amount every month or reoccurring $2,500 every month. It's just, that's the open PO for the 12 months or for the fiscal year. So we pay a little bit out of that PO every month, or it may not be monthly. It could be quarterly, it could be just 2 times a year. But that's the amount.
So
But
I
his
don't know.
contract
No, no, okay,
was
so this is kind of the
8,000.
budget, what is budgeted?
That was
Hang on,
last
can we
year.
do one at a
16 is
time?
for this whole year
Alex,
with that, starting July 1 till July 1 of, so fiscal year.
Yeah.
It is 16 for this fiscal year. Last fiscal year, which was half the year, was less. It was 4,000 for January through June. And then he ran the backpacking workshop in July. And then he's, doing risk management as well.
Thank
But
you
it
for
is
your patience,
It's higher
Sebastian.
though.
It is higher.
Go ahead, Sebastian.
So this is kind of like the budget, what's budgeted for the year for these.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good way to look at it. And I'm gonna just say one more time, because this helps me remember. It's called a dollar PO because it's defined by the number of dollars allowed, not the number of times it's billed. So the person or the contractor can invoice up to that dollar amount. They could do it all in one invoice. That's happened before. It's just a question of how the system defines it. It's closed when the dollars are gone. The regular ones are closed when the items are delivered or the services are performed.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
so he could, for example, invoice us right now for the 16,000,
He could.
even if he hasn't delivered the services
You
yet.
could, but we could not pay it legally. You cannot pay for a service in advance
Okay,
of it being performed, with a couple of exceptions.
okay, thank you.
As a state institution.
Thanks, Justine.
Oh,
Yes, thank you for the explanation.
WMU can't do it.
Anything
All
else
right.
before we move on to next one? We're good on all the POs? Well, these are good questions. I think this, we're gonna learn the finances.
It's good to hear, have your experience. because you've experienced
It's helpful.
Okay, we're ready to go on.
All right. So the next report is on page 7. This is the bank account register activity report. This is just for the month of August, showing our revenues and expenses for the month of August.
Unless it's out of order.
There's more stacks.
That's interesting.
Kathy said they were really
Oh, here
hard
they
to
go.
copy.
And I think I included a copy of the credit card details in there. It might be on the last page.
I don't think I
Do you
have.
want to
have
show
that.
us what it looks like, Justine, so we can find it in our packets?
Yes.
the credit card, no, that, yes,
But the banking.
but then.
I'm
she-
sorry, it's so small, but this is what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
It's in here.
It's at the very end.
So we're looking at one of those entries, Alex,
Oh, here it is, right?
which is the BMO. So everything on this report
It's impossible.
went through BMO Harris.
It's impossible.
Yes, just for August.
Yeah, because of the thing.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Are there any questions about either the credit card fine print or the check register report?
And I just wanted to point out, you can see here's the BMO Harris for 1835.58, and that's the exact amount of that report.
I have a little question.
Can you hear Sebastiano?
Yes,
I don't know, it might be more for Hannah. Like, I see that there is an expense with W&M Communications. And since I know that the campus is providing the connectivity and et cetera, I was wondering what was their, what
They provide Wi-Fi. All of our phones we do through WNM.
Okay.
So landline phones, which only the secretaries, me, the business manager have, those are all WNM.
Okay,
And I know that, I think that charge was Kathy was having a hard time with her fax functionality, so she had to call.
okay. So this is for some intervention, they came and fixed
It was,
something.
yeah, it was a repair, I believe.
On the fax machine?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Can we stop allowing that?
well, and I agree with that. And it is when people send in their application stuff, and there are people who are like, can we fax it?
Cool. We
Thank
ready? Balance sheet report?
all right. Well, the next report is the bank reconciliation. So as of August 31st, we had 1 million in the bank. And then we had outstanding checks of 24,000, which means we've mailed out these checks and vendors have not yet cashed them. So that leaves our balance per the general ledger of 1,072,000, which balances to our balance sheet, which you can see on the next page. And what this report is, basically it tells you the cash by fund, which reconciles to our bank reconciliation. Do you have any questions on any of the other reports?
I know. Well, and yeah. Justine, I sent everything you sent me and asked our secretary to make copies. Next time, maybe you and I can go through and we can like get it in a good order for her.
Okay,
Kind of random
That's a
what she
good
did for
idea.
us, but you and I can work on that.
okay, sounds good. All right. So I will go on to the bars. I don't have the agenda in front of me. I didn't know if that was next.
It should be, yeah, your business manager report, you can organize it how you like.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the bars. We have about 8, I believe. So starting with number 1, this bar is for the library fund. This is a carryover from the prior year. So in the amount of $1,748, our total budget for the library is $4,500. So, and we can use this to purchase furniture, books, anything for the library.
Questions?
Bar number 2 was voided just because I created it on accident. I created the type of bar, so it doesn't let me edit once I've kind of hit that create button. So there won't be a bar number 2. That's why you'll see a missing bar 2. But just I'm looking here at the doc ID, and that's how I get what I mean by bar number 2. So This next one is bar number 3. This is an initial budget bar, and this is to budget the public school kitchen infrastructure grant in the amount of $2,000. Bar number 4, this is an initial budget bar to budget Idea B in the amount of $53,508. And we'll be using this to pay for part of a special ed teacher's salary, part of a special ed instructional assistant salary, and speech therapist and physical therapist.
Recreational therapist is a new thing for me.
Recreational therapist, it's the physical therapist.
But it's called
PG
physical therapy /
recreational.
recreation.
Cool.
So at least, okay.
We
It's
just,
the PED coding. I didn't type this in.
No, yeah, I don't remember seeing that before.
Bar number 5, this is an initial budget bar. This is for the Ed Fellows grant in the amount of $49,100. And this is to pay for their salary, benefits, and a stipend for them.
yeah,
That is great.
it is great.
So Hannah, who is the mentor?
She's gonna switch. So this semester it's Allison Phillips, and next semester we'll see it, maybe Serena.
Okay, cool.
All right, bar number 6. This is an increase bar for the ESSER 3 fund in the amount of $8,999. And we budgeted this for supply assets. So, I mean, it really could be any supplies for the classroom, furniture for the classroom, technology.
And Hannah, you and Justine got together to talk about that one.
This one, no, we're talking about the ESSER money that has to be
ESSER two.
encumbered by the end of September.
Right,
Working on it.
that's why I assumed this was that.
No,
The
this
end of
is- This
September
one's
is not.
separate from the ESSER that needs to be encumbered by the end of this month, right?
No, this is the same.
This is the same one, okay.
Yeah.
Is that in addition? No,
Yes.
okay.
To our budget, I think our budget was around $30,000 if I remember correctly, looking at the reports. So this is in addition to, it actually has to be spent by September 30th. So a check needs to be cut by September 30th.
Oh, let's meet tomorrow real quick on that. I think we can take care of it.
Okay. All right, bar number 7. So this is an initial budget bar for the New Mexico grown fresh fruits and vegetables in the amount of $850 to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables from local growers.
So Justine, we used to get this and there was a fair amount of paperwork proving that market prices were being used because some of this was internal dealing with Montessori. Are you having to do that? Do we have some other staff member working on that?
Well, and this particular, you and I haven't talked, I'm so sorry I didn't see this, but I turned down this grant repeatedly.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
there's like 3,000 hours worth of paperwork for
Well,
that
The thing is, that Heidi
$850
used to
too.
do 2,800 of those herself.
Ah,
I mean, she did a lot of it.
yeah.
And then I did the rest.
But I don't know that the one that we turned down is, I'm not sure. I swear that I repeatedly declined this grant.
Just vote against it at the end and not do it.
We don't have to spend it. I could budget it, but we don't have to spend it.
And then not spend it, that's fine.
Okay, well, that's
And that way
fine.
Our options are
And
still
then
open.
you and I can look at it and make sure this is, I'm not sure, because there are so many and because Melissa being gone and Catalina also wrote a lot of grants and she is gone. And it's very hard for me to find the paper trail on a lot of things. But we can maybe track it down and figure out if it's the one I'm thinking it is.
The other one you might be confusing with is the New Mexico Grown.
Right,
They're similar,
they're similar. And-
similar requirements.
Yeah, that may be the one I turned down.
All right. Bar number 8, this is an increase for the operational fund in the amount of 129,000, and this is due to the unit value increase. So what I did with this is I just kind of looked in the operational fund to see where we're overspending, and I've put some budget in those line items. And then bar number 9 is an initial budget bar. This is for the YCC grants in the amount of $125,444. And those are all the bars.
And do you happen to know, Justine, if this is for the fall project or the spring project?
Fall.
Because they both generally get approved at the same meeting.
Oh, okay. So I may have just done the fall.
Ally
I
hasn't
can,
finished spring. It's not due for a couple, like a week maybe or two. So she hasn't finished the grant application for spring. She's still working on it.
So, okay, it used to be we had to turn in that with fall of 25 at the same time.
Oh, I don't know. I know nothing.
Okay,
and this is new to me. I've never worked this grant, so I can submit this, and if PED can deny it and say, oh, you need 2, or they can approve this, and I can come back and create a new bar for the fall, and it'll be in one.
yep, the new bar will be for spring.
Spring, yeah.
Yeah.
And what is likely to happen is it'll get approved in January, and we'll start spending in January, and so there'll be a lot of pressure to get the bar thing.
Yeah.
I have a question, but going back to bar 4.
So
Tell,
Justine, you explained the bar 4, it says the total in the flow through only. Current year allocation, 25,000, total funding available, 25,000. Can you explain what that means?
Is it this one you're talking about
I'm talking about number 4.
for the idea B?
Yeah,
So where it says 25,000, the adjusted amount, and then the adjusted budget of 25,000.
I'm talking about, it says flow through only, in the top.
it's a box that we never look at.
Right here, fund type flow through.
Keep going down to the box.
The box on top that says flow through only.
Okay, yes. So the total current year allocation, 25,000. I mean, it's just a repeated amount. It's not that we have 50,000. Oh yeah, that we have 50,000. That is odd. Why it says it doesn't match up to the 53. I've never looked there either. Now I'm confused on why it says 25 and 25.
their carryover that didn't get put in the approved carryover spot?
No, this is the actual allocation for fiscal year 25 is the 53, and this is what I got from the PED website. So yeah, that does stump me. I'm not sure exactly why it's saying that. I would probably have to look at
Is it letter
another
C?
bar to see if it's the kind of the same way.
Maybe the
That's a
letter
good
C is
point.
28,000.
Because none of the other ones, like even this is an initial budget bar, but it doesn't even have anything in there. That's something so when it says flow through only, that's where PED enters numbers. I'm not sure why that was entered.
So you get those numbers from PED, you don't.
Yeah, that box is, I can't enter anything in that. That's like flow through PED only. So it's not something I touch when I'm entering this bar.
Okay.
The box is always there. that box? I've
So
never been
mysterious
to-
TED mishap.
But
is
it
the
doesn't, and
answer.
it doesn't relate to what's below it.
Right, that's what's weird. I'm not sure why that is.
Okay, then I don't need to know what it is. You do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I totally agree with her. I've never paid any attention to that box.
Well, it just wasn't making
I
sense.
think it's a vestige of some other system somewhere.
It seems usually it's empty.
Maybe it's a glitch. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Any other questions on the bars?
It's my job.
Anything else,
Just do my
Justine?
job.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Is there anything you need me to stay for? I'm not, I apologize. I don't have the agenda up, but I didn't know if there was anything else.
There's nothing you're on there for, I don't think. Yeah, Dr.
As
Smith?
far as strategic planning goes, she's met the objectives, so we'll just put that in the record.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks, Justine.
Justine, do you know your objectives?
No, we're meeting soon.
Okay, good.
I wanted to point one thing out though. So I did log on to OBMS, which is the website that I input the bars. I'm going to share my screen real quick just to kind of show you what it's saying. So bar number 4. So it's saying it's an increase, total current year allocation 25, increase of 53, total funding available 25. So yeah, this is numbers I don't put in. But yeah, I'm not sure why. I just wanted to kind of show you where that all comes from. But I will look into that and see. But I have no doubt that they're going to approve this because the number, the 53, is from the PED memo.
Thank you, Justine.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You are on.
Present the report from student council. Today, all we talked about was what we wanted to do for its year. And come up with a list of ideas, and Lucy said that she's gonna make like a poll and put it in the all school, so the whole like student body can have like a choice on what we want to do this year. And that was maybe what we talked about.
Do you want to tell them about Senior Sunrise?
I don't really know anything about.
Oh, because you're not a senior.
Yeah,
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Iris.
She's in 9th grade. Iris is awesome. Yeah.
And are you student body president?
Well, I'm the one in the 9th grade class.
Thanks for being here. So you haven't gone backpacking?
I did.
Oh, you did, it was 9th, 12th.
9th, 12th last week.
You want to talk about that at all?
I think it was really great. I had a really good time backpacking, and I think they're really fun. I'm excited for this.
Did you learn anything from seniors? Any nuggets, wisdom?
Today, an advisor, they didn't talk to us, and I think about taking a Spanish college class, and they say it's really hard.
Oh,
The seniors in my group were really great. I had faith in Jesse as my team.
You had a really great group.
I did.
Thanks,
Thanks
Iris.
for the report.
so
Nice. Oh, you don't have to. You're welcome
You
to
can
stay.
stay. It goes all night.
if the business manager report was stimulating enough.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
So we just are finishing our 6th week of school already. Gone really fast. 8th graders in Jennifer's class are doing research on indigenous tribes, and they're going to do presentations on them. I know they've been utilizing the library here at Western, and the Miller Library is always really great with us, and when we take students over, they're very welcome. Freshmen and seniors were backpacking last week. 10th and 11th graders will go backpacking next week. Today, oh, and then half of the middle school went to Camp Thunderbird last night. And then the other half will go at the end of the month after backpacking. And seniors today went to see Stella Poforte presentation in Miller Library. She's an author, and she talked about writing and becoming an author. And YCC and internships are underway. So I'll take questions, but that's all I have for you.
Questions? How did staff feel?
Good, I got really good feedback from staff. And all week went really well. I stayed here and went to all week, and it was very organized and.
Maya organized it.
Yeah. Our differential ed director, it was very organized and it went really well. And I'd also like to add, I did go on that backpacking retreat or backpacking workshop that Mel put on this summer, and it was wonderful. And I really hope all staff get to do backpacking training with him. I learned so much about backpacking and backpacking with students, and it was just really valuable. Thank you for bringing him. We can learn a lot from him.
Can you talk a little bit about how you feel about the capacity of the school right now? Is it crowded?
Like bodies,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there's a lot of bodies. And that's kind of why like middle school has divided up their camping trip, because there's just a lot of students. One of my classes like that I had today, we had 19 kids. It's really hard to fit 19 bodies into these classrooms. It also becomes, it's a small class size compared to what I've taught in the past. But when your numbers increase, you have a lot of other things, increasing behavior issues and just a lot. Yeah, I feel like I know when I taught 6th grade, 1 year I had 15 kids and 1 year I had 18 kids, and it made a world of difference just having 3 extra ones. So I feel like we have a lot.
I guess I'm asking your honest, unvarnished
Yeah, that
perception of what it's like to have too many bodies.
it's hard. And I know sometimes it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll put a teacher's aide in there. That doesn't necessarily help the situation. You're just adding a body. So I feel they're good compared to other schools I've been in. But my 19 kids, it's really.
Anything else?
Thank you, Serena, for coming.
You also
Appreciate it.
welcome to stay.
I haven't eaten dinner yet. So.
Oh,
you have your
Some wild rice, it was wild rice salad.
Thank you. So. But no, it was great. It was very eye-opening.
And someone might get back to you about your input on finance committee.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. See you later.
Thank you.
Item 8 is strategic plan. And see Dr. Smith in the upper right of the upper right.
He'll
So,
come back in a second. Dr. Smith, you're good to go.
there he is.
Okay, thank you. Hey, it's great to see everybody. And I just wanted to give a short intro and then let Hannah go ahead and carry the ball here. So there's been a lot of transitions in leadership at Aldo, as everyone knows. And so I've been reaching out to both Justine and Michelle to kind of get their take on where they are. And with Justine, really not a lot of things need to change in the strategic plan, but with Michelle and special ed, as I'm sure you're well aware, the issues with compliance and process are going to need to be worked on before we elevate from perhaps where we perceive things were. So what that means is I'm going to be getting into the strategic plan and working with Michelle. We talked on Tuesday over the phone on retooling a lot of the tasks with the goal in mind that by the end of the school year, everything will be aligned in terms of the EDT, Education Determination Team, IEPs, compliance with the state, which also leads to increased funding when done correctly. So that's on the docket. I have pushed forward, and then I will communicate with Hannah on this, and she will in turn communicate with you. Some of the tasks around trip forms, we're looking at adding a trip form for budget, because there's a little bit of I don't know, ambiguity in terms of what each trip costs going into the trip. And so I think that will be great for everyone. And as well as looking at some of our other forms, which have to be changed due to a lot of it due to personnel changes, a lot of it due to meeting current needs. And I'm working with directly with the point people on those, whether it's Kathy, whether it's Maya, or Dre. And then so in the coming days and weeks, I'll be working on that. And that is really all I had to share, except that the communication with the new leaders has been fantastic. And they, both in special ed and fiscal, they've been super responsive. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hannah, unless there's any questions.
Are there questions? I have two.
Okay.
Could you explain these educational determination teams and also how they lead to increased budget?
Okay. Yeah, those are two different things. So in visiting with Michelle on the phone, she said, you know, we actually have students that are on IEPs that haven't properly been reported to the state, which in turn means that we don't get funding for those students if they're not on the state dockets through the process of reporting. That's the IEP answer. A team assembles to determine IEP, just discuss the data around testing and if an IEP needs to be implemented for the individual student. And so that process so that's a determination team. They have different names in different states. In New Mexico, it's the Education Determination Team. And so that process feeds into qualification, which feeds into properly reporting the state, which feeds into getting proper funding back from the state. Hannah, do you have anything to add to that?
I will be talking about the work that Michelle's doing to ensure that we are getting funded as well as being in compliance in special ed in a different section. It's not part of the strategic plan section, but I'm touching on it during my director's report.
Okay, sounds terrific.
Thanks, Dr. Smith. My second item is more a comment than a question. We used to have a trip budget form.
We don't have
It's
that.
probably just as easy to make it again as to find
Yeah.
the old one. But it asks for mileage, asks for stops, asks for staffing, asks for fees for admissions to parks and museums. It had all those things laid out so that teachers could let me know what the costs were going to be.
Yeah.
But again, you can probably just make up a new.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I'll be talking to Kathy Gomez in the coming days, see what she can find, because there's no sense in reinventing a wheel that doesn't need to be reinvented. And then having two-way conversations with Maya to make sure to get feedback on editing of that form.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Smith. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys.
Bye.
He's gonna stay, I think. You're staying for goal manager reports,
I'm
right?
staying.
Yes.
Okay. So the strategic plan goals for this month, Anthony sent me some updated things a little too late for me to change my presentation for tonight. And so I'm just gonna go ahead with what I have here. And Anthony, you and I can readjust later. So the first goal, Harry had pointed out that it would be helpful to sort of situate the GC with what each of these goals are, right? And that so you can see. All right. So the first goal, which is 3B2, the overall goal, 3B, is to continue to increase the substitute teacher pool from the July baseline. And so my goal, B2, is to begin the recruiting process, including advertising and posting. It is posted on our website, it has been, and we have been that advertising within the building and on the website. We have more subs than we did last year by one. Last year we had 5 really reliable, they're always here subs. This year we have 6 so far. And it's enough right now. If it's not, then we could advertise in the daily press or put it on Indeed or whatever it is that we need to do. But right now we are good on subs. And all of this came from, you know, a couple of years ago when we just didn't even have enough subs in the building. When there was backpacking, like next week, we didn't have enough coverage, but we do now. So that's good. Another overall goal is to implement new employee checklist forms, end of year employee forms, and employee exit and separation from service forms to ensure continuity and consistency when people are hired, that they get all the same information and have filled in all the paperwork. We have all those forms, and a 3A2, which is to ensure each new employee is provided with and completes those, that was done this year. We had 3 new employees, they all did their forms. And there's a lot of stuff on there, but just to make sure that going forward, I would like a more formal onboarding for new employees, like a whole day of just helping them out, because there's so many procedures and it's so hard because we run so many programs and all of the acronyms, you know, and people are just like, oh, but they have to do YCC, but they have CO and blah, blah, and nobody like watching a new high school teacher writing all of this stuff down. Anyway, we'll keep working on all of that. 4A is to begin planning for a transition to a new facility as lease options with Western New Mexico expire in 2026, and to provide a first update of progress. It's not the first update. We've been talking about this. And right now there isn't, I haven't talked with Mr. Hawkins in Silver again, but he and I am hosting a luncheon next week for ed leaders in the county, and Mr. Hawkins will be there, and so we'll keep talking about it. But he's been sharing publicly that he'd like us to have JV. He's shared all the information that I shared with you guys last time. I see your hand going up. Let me finish, Alex. And he invited me to be on their facilities committee, and it hasn't started meeting yet. So I think that it's through that committee and participating in it that I'll have real substantive information, like here's a timeline, here's what this is, but I don't have that right now. Yes, Alex?
Okay, well, that sort of answered my question, but I heard the rumor that he said that school wouldn't be ready for several years.
2 years.
Well, he said
He's saying well, yes,
he's saying 3 to 5.
okay.
Or at the meeting.
I'll learn more in the facilities meetings.
Sebastiana, and I remind you, this could be publicly viewed.
Yes.
Okay, so but is there comment in regard to be the school ready with the no any more fixing needs to be done?
Oh,
or
no,
ready
I
as
think
we
he
can
did-
walk in for what did he mean?
That's a good question. I don't know. What did he mean
What
by
did you
ready?
perceive that was about?
But that it wouldn't be ready to walk in.
But students are already there,
They're
so
using
that
it
would
now.
be
Well,
possible.
Let's not go down the
Sorry.
rabbit hole.
Okay.
Let's just
Yeah.
wait to hear what,
I will
He says.
continue to update everyone every time I get an update, which will be through those committees. Yes,
You're
Alex.
spread pretty thin. I volunteered to go on that committee.
Oh,
Exactly what I was
awesome.
gonna bring up.
I would love that. I
Yeah,
think that's an
I
awesome
would
idea.
love
I will take you up on it. That sounds great. I will talk to him next week. So our luncheon is on Thursday. And
I want to see what it means.
that sounds great. Alex McKenzie has offered. I will tell Mr. Hawkins that, and I'm sure he'd be open to that. And I sure would, because I am spread a little thin to say the least. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. Any other questions on the next facility today? The next one, 4B, is to review student trip operation planning, pre-trip, trip, and post-trip, including corresponding forms and checklists, and revise as necessary for improved clarity on responsibilities, communication, consistency, and accountability. That's the overarching goal. Tonight's goal is 4B3, which is to review communication processes and audiences for student trip attendance and revise as needed. And so Maya is still getting food ready for backpacking right now. And this is what she has as her sort of rubric of what she's doing right now, which is that Parent Square communication goes to families 2 weeks before a trip. They get a reminder 1 week before and a day before. Copies of letters and permissions are available to families both digitally and in paper. Check-ins and phone calls to families when permission slips are missing. Middle school and high school hallway calendars. All school posting in Google Classroom, Parent Square communication about importance and purpose of trips, pre-trip student meetings to create student buy-in and engagement, grades to hold students accountable for makeup assignments, and family meetings for students with IEPs and 504s for accommodations and support on trips. So that's what she's already implemented. She's so organized. She's doing an amazing job, and I'm so thankful.
Tracy does not.
I couldn't hear you.
It's everything Will Tracy doesn't do.
Right,
It's
right.
lead around.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Will does the hands-on here, but like to make all of the structure to make it work.
And
Yeah.
In the, is it a goal 43 or is that an objective? I can't remember at that level.
Oh, I think that's an objective
Objective.
and then a goal.
So the reference to audience, review communication process and
Yeah.
audience, what is meant by that?
Dr. Smith, you wrote that.
Yeah, so you have different audiences you need to communicate with. That's just as simple as that. So there's parents, there's teachers, students, and then outside entities that are part of the trip's journey, right?
Okay. So it's almost like review that process for each of the audiences.
Yeah.
Got it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Any
and,
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to let you guys know that it's pretty obvious that I can help Hannah and you quite a bit in preparation for these meetings by, in every case, in writing, listing what the actual goal is, what the objective under the goal is, and then the tasks, which is what we focus on at GC meetings. So I will start doing that for the future and doing it well in advance. So Hannah will have the option of sharing that with you prior to the meetings and or at the meetings.
That sounds really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. And then the final one is to review student transportation fleet maintenance schedules and articulate a plan of who is responsible for each item and address any existing gaps. So up until, well, through July, like one giant gap. I did not have anyone managing transportation. Wayne helped last year, but throughout the summer, starting trips off, suddenly we're like, oh, a bus is out, and this isn't people getting in cars without gas. But Pat Avalos, who is now our special education teacher, who worked in Cobre and actually ran transportation for them for a year, has taken that on just as an extra duty. He's getting the schedule in place. And Pat wrote up a little narrative, so I will just read what Pat said. Transportation is very vital to the success of the program. Currently, Bus 8 has been sent, because Bus 8 was out, to Montoya Transportation for repair of codes that are indicating a problem with the fuel system. It is expected to be back in service in the next 2 weeks. Suburban 10 was brought back into service late last week with a battery replacement. We had backpacking returning on Friday and middle school going out into the field on 2 different trips. So we did not have a single vehicle available, and Pat got 10 working.
Wow.
Lube and Go services has been revived and all services of the fleet updated and placed on a maintenance schedule. Car wash service as well. We are waiting a procurement person to complete that purchase. Oh, for vehicle cleanup. Biggest project is underway with the implementation of Trip Direct as a centralized tracking system for trips. So do you know School Dude?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
School Dude.
They,
We use it here at Western, uses it, Cobra used it. They have a transportation management piece. So it's transportation management software where you can schedule everything like maintenance as well as who's signing up to use vehicles. Because we will have staff members sign up for a Suburban and someone will erase them and sign up for the same.
no way.
It's happened twice now. So it's going to all be in the software system. Pat's managing that. He's used it in the past. The software is $2,000 for the year. Justine said we had the money for that, like some specific thing for that earmarked. And so that is going to be implemented. We have capital outlay for a new bus, which we are hoping to get. Pat's working on that. And once we have a procurement officer, then we can continue with that. Buses are a year out though, so we won't get it till next year. So
Pat's doing this as a things of his heart.
he is doing this as a kindness to me right now. Yes. Not extra for the transportation management. He is a special education teacher and sometimes has 2 kids in resource room who are working on homework, and he has a little more time in his schedule than a lot of people do. And I told him that when I hired him that I would optimize his time, and he understood that. So he's okay with that. Yeah. Any other questions on this goal?
I mean, we're talking about whether to give him a stipend for this.
As he gets busier, as I continue to optimize his time, I think that's appropriate. Right this minute, it's okay. But yeah, thank you. Other questions? All right, Dr. Smith, anything else from you as I leave the strategic plan?
No, except I'll be visiting again in March, and there'll be a work study with the GC to re-up on the tasks and elevate the plan.
Awesome. We'll look forward to it.
Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Smith.
Thank you.
Hannah,
Yes,
you're still on.
I know. Thanks. All right, director's report.
Talk.
It has been a very busy month. A couple weeks ago, I went to a leadership retreat hosted by Public Charter Schools of New Mexico, Wayne's organization, and it was the first director PD I've done since I started because I had no time last year. I'd get invited to things like this and I just couldn't do it. So it was really valuable to me. It was really good. I learned a lot of stuff and met and networked with other charter directors from all over the state, and that was cool. And the one thing that was said that stood out to me was one of the women who's been a director for like 16 years. And I had some question. It was a very business oriented question. And she said, just understand that all of you in this room, right? You're educators. You have been teachers for your whole careers, and you are suddenly CEOs of multi-million-dollar corporations with no background. So it's challenging, and it made me feel a lot better because it really is challenging. There's so many pieces and elements that are a lot, and I've learned a lot. So backpacking last week, 9th and 12th went. last week, next week, 10th and 11th go. Camp Thunderbird was this week, and it will be the following week after backpacking. 2 trips down, both were really successful. Maya's organization and planning has been invaluable, and the kids had a lot of fun. We are in the middle of our renewal. All of the renewal evidence and documentation is due October 1st. And it's so much. It's just a lot. But I put this here so you can see what this all looks like. So the PEC has instituted a digital sort of portfolio platform where you can see where we're at and what we're doing. And so 9 total means I have 9 tasks left to complete. The document center, no, it's not the document center. It is this is it. So this is where I can see what has been done and what hasn't, and where it is in status with the charter school division, who reviews it first before the PEC sees it. And so you can see, like, here's what I've uploaded, what they've accepted. Whoops. Sorry. So if it has a little check mark on the right, it's done. The bylaws we have to talk about tonight, and they will be uploaded tomorrow. Appendix A, academic data is already done by the state, and then we have to write about it. And then, so all of the ones with the check mark, I have uploaded. The Part B progress report, Ali and I have been working on really hard. If you choose to hire PCS&M to do your training, and we could send it to Kelly Callahan, that would be cool. I will say that.
What is Part B specifically?
Part B is the big one. It is our entire response to Part A, which is what the state generates and says, here's where you
okay.
are, here's your goals, here's your data, here's where you have not met certain criteria, be it in fiscal management or test scores, and they lay out all the data. And then Part B is where we can say, here's why this is true, or here's what we've done to address this, or here's where this doesn't really capture everything we do. Let us tell you about what we do well, right? So that's Part B. Part B is the beast. The financial statement, Justine has provided me with an excellent draft that still needs work, but it's a great start. Petitions of support, Fiona has almost done. The facilities piece, yeah.
What is the petitions of support?
So we had to gather signatures from from parents and staff to say that you support the school existing. And we've been doing that since last February. You probably signed that. Yeah. And then we have to compile them all, count them all, say what percentage there is, then get a notarized like affidavit that we have this many and upload that. But that's Fiona's job. No, you have to do it in person here. So we have gathered them at
I didn't know. Okay.
student-led conferences is the time we did it.
Right, that's what I
Staff
did.
meetings, we've done it. It has to be when people are physically here. We have our signatures. We're good.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
What's the minimum? I can't remember.
I think it's 80 or 85%.
And we
So,
have that many?
yes, we have our signatures.
Cool.
And we've been doing it for months and months and months. And Fiona has done this in the past, so she has a whole system for tracking them and everything.
Sorry, and the 80 or 85% of what?
Of parents
Of
have
parents,
to
okay.
say they support the school continuing to exist, which I
I
would,
didn't know if it was staff or parents. So
The staff is like 2/3.
I think it is,
It's a lower number than the parents.
Yeah.
Because you could have disgruntled staff.
but not disgruntled
But
parents.
they can leave, more easily than staff.
They could always leave. And then, so anyway, compliance materials, blah, 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 blah. So there were 21 tasks. We have 9 left to upload.
Sweet, great.
Yeah, that's great.
It's really good.
It is. We have 2.5 weeks, almost 3.
I
I'm
love
gonna call it
Epicenter.
3. It's not bad. It's not bad because I like how I can see it all.
Exactly.
And I'm not dealing with piles of
This is
stuff.
so much
Once
better.
it's uploaded, it's done. It's kind of
Very
nice.
impressive.
I
Yeah.
thought you hated it, but I'm sitting here thinking this is so much better than,
Well, I didn't
Other
have
efforts?
anything to compare it to. I've looked at past, giant
Yeah.
binders of stuff, and this is much
Yeah.
tidier.
cool.
I see that. Okay, so the school is in the middle of its audit, which is done by Clifton Larson Allen. In the past, this has never affected me other than sitting on the audit committee and visiting for a moment. But with the loss of Melissa and Justine not being on site, I have spent a huge amount of time hunting down documents over the last month and requesting them and digging for them. So I am now a business manager. I know I'm not really a business manager, but I'm a bad business manager secretary. With IEPs, what Dr. Smith was referring to was our new special ed director has a huge amount of reporting compliance work to do to get our IEPs cleaned up from the past. And so I have been attending every single IEP virtually, as well as being a business manager. But we're getting there. Again, progress. As Alex pointed out, there are a lot of kids in the building. And we have the most kids we've ever had, and this does lead to more behavior issues than I have experienced in the past as well. The past month has been very busy in my office with negative student behaviors, including fighting, drug use, bullying, all sorts of stuff. So very, very busy with discipline and working on those behaviors. Again, another point with how full we are, Alex, is that Avery doesn't even teach in the building, right? He is teaching in the basement of the museum. So we are bursting at the seams. And while that's good, right, for the SEG, it is not good for the classroom. It's just not. Yeah. I hired an office manager.
Yeah.
Yay, Harry has met her. He was on the hiring committee. Her name is Jackie Riley. She will start the week after fall break. And this year she is an office manager. She's going to work as a liaison with Justine and get a lot of experience with that. And my goal is that next year she would be our full-time on-site business manager. She has experience in federal programs, human resources, procurement. She will be getting her CPO certification during fall break. So we will have a CPO, which is huge. We really need one. And so we will have that, and she will continue to work there. And up in Melissa's old office. Yeah, that's her office.
Right, so she's healthy now, not hired because we already have a contract with.
She's not here yet because she had a job. I stole her from Cobray District. Yeah, and she put in notice, and her boss begged her to stay a little longer. So she can't start until mid-October because of that.
It's an office manager, kind of nothing else, but we need to keep paying.
Yeah,
Get-
so the
You don't
biggest,
Yeah,
Justine,
we gotta
yeah.
finish their contract before we hire officially.
I really think it's the best way to go because Jackie's done tons of bits and pieces, but it is a huge
Oh,
job.
that's it. Yeah.
What's that?
We need somebody.
We need somebody here, and she'll learn so much by being here on site and working with Justine. The one piece, she has never developed a whole budget on her own at all. And she will get to go through that whole process in spring with Justine and learn a lot. And Justine knows she's being hired, and Justine knows that my intention is to replace her with Jackie next year. It will be expensive this year. But I don't know any other way out of it. I am absolutely dying trying to do all those jobs.
To do it
So
all in order, I guess.
yeah, that's it. She's gonna, yeah. And Harry can help her if she has questions too.
Yes, that-
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I was a double thumbs up on for her. I thought she was great in the interview. And she knows schools.
She knows schools, and she has a lot of experience with tons of the pieces of the business office that I didn't really, just like my job is like whatever, 7 jobs in a traditional school. You're just a principal. You're not running buses and a facility. Same with our business manager. What Justine does, she does a really good job at. There's just so many other pieces that Melissa picked up that she doesn't. And that's where that transition has been just crippling for me, learning about federal programs and getting in like that Idea B money, the 53,000. I got an email saying, hey, your Idea B application isn't being accepted. You have an hour and a half to fix it. And I'm just like, what is an Idea B application? I knew what it was, but I had to find how to log in and I didn't have credentials. And then I had to fix the application all on this timeline for a big chunk of money. And it's been super stressful. But I got it. I did it. Thank you. And Title II and Perkins. Yeah. Probably $100,000 that week that I saved and made sure it was there. All right. So anyway, IEPs, behaviors, staffing, office manager, the Sandy Hook Promise people, we are all trained. We are waiting on, they have to send us these boxes of actual materials, like rollout materials and workbooks for kids and banners and buttons. And there's some sort of production slowdown and we're waiting on that. I have 3 amazing seniors who are taking over our social media. Our wonderful parent who was doing it did an awesome job, but we were paying her and these students are volunteering. And I think and we're gonna track their engagement and everything so they can put it on their resume and show how much they increased engagement. They're just gonna be great. So they're taking that over starting immediately.
That was
I have a
done.
question.
Yeah.
So it's one of those 3 kids that the one that
It's
is coming in
not
our
Damien,
office?
but we can add Damien to that group. So yes, absolutely. And Damien, so the Western Marketing is hosting one of our interns and they've been sitting there tearing our website apart and thinking about how to do it so
I
much
assigned
better.
all those things.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and Damien's loving it and that's really exciting. I
Yeah, because,
love,
she seemed very excited about it.
Yeah.
They gave her material that she can use to kind of prioritize these things and present them at some point.
Yeah.
And she seemed very excited.
no, and I told her
think
she
it's a
should,
good opportunity, to fix all the things that
To
on the
fix
website
it.
that are wrong. So
and it could be her passion project. Like that would be so impressive. Like here's the old site, look what I created. And then the school is the beneficiary of some really
but I'm
great.
happy that you support
great-
that.
Awesome.
Because,
Thank
of
you
course,
so much.
We needed, I told her, we need to talk with Dan. and make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
she's
No,
supporting
I'm
us.
totally on board. And I wanna, Damien's so creative and has such an artistic eye. And I love that they're really engaged in this
Yeah,
process.
that's why she spent half of her time there in my office with me and the other half with the graphic designers in the office.
Good.
So she was
Yeah.
very happy.
But yeah, I'm really happy that we placed her up there with you guys. And I haven't talked to Mario again, but tell him thank you because it's great.
That was Danielle who was doing
Danielle, yes, Lulu's mom.
it. And she did a lot on Facebook.
She did,
I don't have an Instagram.
right.
Or I do,
And
but
I
I never
will,
look at it.
right now, but she mostly posted announcements from Parent Square on Facebook and we're working with the kids. None of them have Facebook. They
That's-
don't know how to
This is why I was
manipulate it
bringing it up. All of it was Instagram and they're young.
and they're young.
so they don't
But
use
there
Facebook.
is a button and we're gonna talk about when just to hit the button and post it on Facebook too. And they are linked, so it'll
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
Because I'm old.
I will tell them that. I told them grandparents still care. All right. CEP, we found out today, Kathy Gomez in the office has taken over all of the lunch program stuff, which Melissa used to do. And I don't know if you remember in the past, we never had enough free and reduced lunch kits to get free lunch for everyone. Then last year, the state made lunch free for everyone, no matter what. But now we meet the threshold, which actually means we're going to get more money from the state. Last year, we paid $27,000 out of operational to make up that gap. And so that gap should be less this year.
Any idea how much less?
I don't know. And Kathy's like helping me so much. Yeah, we got in a little trouble because she'd been like logging in as me and had to tell them today that it wasn't me. But we're good now.
Whoops.
Okay. As you know, I have set it up. I already showed you that we are live streaming tonight. All of the meetings will be archived on the website. I showed you where. Next week, I'm hosting an educational leaders luncheon. Dr. Shepherd graciously offered to have it on his patio when I invited him. So we're having an ed leaders luncheon over on Dr. Shepherd's patio next Thursday, which should be lovely.
Who else is coming?
Will Hawkins, Michael Corey, Heidi, and I haven't heard from George Peru at El Grito.
Michael Curry still talking to you?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. He must know. And he did tell me what sandwich he wanted today. Okay. The New Mexico State Fair. I keep expecting to see our Lieutenant Governor. He he's giving us a bunch of tickets for our families, and he's bringing them over tonight, which was very nice. And Aji Clausen came to visit with the kids this week and talked to them about preparing for college. And it was a great presentation. She went to USC, finished in 4 years, went on a full ride, and came to talk about the ways that Aldo helped her do that, and created this lovely presentation that I have shared with all of the students. And it really is a roadmap. So this is great. So I was walking behind Iris after Aji's presentation, and Aji had said, I'm going to give you my email if you want. I'll look over your college essays, help you out, that kind of thing. And Iris said, her email's fine, but I need like her plan. I need her system. And I told Aji that, and here we go. It lays out so much. I have shared it with all of the
Can you
kids.
share it with us so we can look at it at our leisure?
Absolutely,
I
happily.
thought you wanted to
Thank
apply.
I just don't want to look at it now.
Yeah. Share Aji's.
Amazing.
You got it. I'll send it tomorrow.
Thank you.
And that is almost my entire presentation, except I have one picture. So last Friday, I went out to take lunch to the backpackers, which we traditionally do, like go greet them when they come out of the field. And Molly's sister, instead of doing cold cuts, she made everyone enchiladas. And there are the 12th and 9th graders returning from
Right.
their trip. And it was really nice to be out there. And the second I lost service, I was so happy.
You're the second person to say those exact words to me today.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I was just like, boo. But that's my report. I'm done. Any questions? Yes, Harry.
You didn't mention big changes at the PED.
Oh, I didn't.
Is that
So
something you wanna talk
Dr. Romero, the PED secretary, resigned 2 weeks ago. We have been without a public education secretary for 2 weeks, which creates all sorts of interesting things. Like I couldn't get anybody's license because there was no one to sign it. But the governor appointed a secretary designate. Her name is Mariana Padilla. She has been working at the PED and is close to the governor and is now our head secretary designate. I don't know her well, but I will say she's super responsive.
It's good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the new office manager able to assume any of Kathy and Drea's duties? to alleviate
Some of the
their-
stuff that they've taken over, yes. I think, Drea has taken over a huge amount of HR work. Kathy's doing the lunch thing. As we get Jackie situated, absolutely, I think most of those duties go back to the business manager, but there's certain stuff Dre always did with Harry that Melissa wanted to do. And I think that wherever she's comfortable with those things, continuing them, we'll find that balance
I just
together.
I'm sure she might be able to alleviate some of
Yeah, I think so. For sure,
Um,
that's the goal. Other questions?
Alex, sounded like you had another.
Yeah, I can't decide whether this goes in government input. I'll ask it now. What are the expectations from us for the charter?
For the renewal, thank you so much. I had it on there. So the renewal hearing will be the week of the 9th through the 13th
Of December?
of December. And I did bring you a renewal timeline, if any of you wanted to kind of glance over it, like what all of it looks like. The site visit is October 15th. So Charter School Division comes then, they need to talk to governing council members. Okay, and they've already reached out to you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Decide which two.
okay.
Do we have to decide who's gonna go? Who's
Is
gonna-
the what we did last time you did? We had an interview with someone, you remember when you came on Zoom?
Yeah, that was.
For the renewal?
No, for the
Oh,
charter division site visit, because the
Yeah.
site visit is a piece
Yeah,
of the
There
renewal.
was some other site
There was
visit.
something like that, but
But it wasn't that for the renewal, it had to do with accreditation or something?
I don't think so either. Although I don't remember what it was for. It was just for the site visit.
We just say with it. They want
Okay.
two of us, because I think three,
Yeah.
we got a quorum and it's problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, they want to, so who's gonna do that? Who would like to?
So have you already gotten some kind of notice about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, we have an invitation to an event, but I waited to respond because
All the governing board focus.
I wanted to talk with you about it.
For the meeting for our CSD renewal site visit, it's a virtual meeting. The big fund direction will join the meeting. Or limit the number of board members attending. We don't have a quorum. That was sent to us on September 4th. I figured we'd be discussing it today.
They don't have my email address.
But I'll send it to you.
I have nothing
I'll
like
send
that.
it to you right now. Got eight people.
I am gonna run to the restroom since you are all doing old business. Or is that where you?
Where are we? No, we're on director's report, so you may go to the restroom.
I am done with my director's. report.
This is a question.
Oh, okay, are we
But
still?
you go ahead.
Okay.
No, seriously, go
Okay.
ahead. We'll talk.
You
This is
can
what we
figure it
do.
out? All right.
It's part of the answer to Alex.
It's our 5-minute break. I sent it to you.
Okay, oh yeah, there it is. Thank you. So we need to decide which two people? Who wants to go?
Oh, it's a virtual, it's an online.
And it's going to be October 15th. Is that right?
It's set, yeah.
I'm getting
I should say.
a biopsy on October 15th. I don't know there's anything at all, but tests indicate there might be. Yep,
What time on the 15th is it?
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It says 9:30 to 10:30.
That's a Monday?
So we'll
So
get it on our phones, show us on our speaker.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I'll be on the road.
I'm open. So I can hit ours. Is that okay?
I'm
We
looking
have
at-
a night.
I don't see a fight for it yet, but
Alright.
Go
Well, I
ahead,
just
right, I mean, they need two of us,
and
right?
two, yeah.
So you RSVP and then we'll figure out who's going among us, right? I mean,
Sure.
isn't that how it works?
Works fine that way. If you're okay with it.
Yeah,
I
and-
mean, Jim might be totally happy to go too, if you guys would rather have Jim go. We might be deciding that, but we don't know.
I mean, I don't, what kind of preparation do we need to attend? Like, do you
It's
do you have
just-
any idea?
I would guess that also.
Yeah,
I understand that, but what do they want us to, what are we gonna talk about?
well, we've had site visits before.
Yeah,
but they want to talk to us, so it's no big deal. How do you like it, what do you like in school, what do you do, it's not really new stuff, it's just generic.
Well, and the one that, I mean, again, I feel that the interview we did was very similar.
Mhm.
We did ask something about the practices of the school, too. Like how does the school do this, how does the school do that?
So that's what I'm trying to, stuff
Yeah.
I may not know. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but
You can say, I don't know.
to what's
You
in
can
our
see that.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
No, really, you can say, I don't know.
Yeah. Our job is to oversee the director and budget. I mean, outside of that.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
I agree with that.
This seems like, why are you supporting everybody like it?
Oh, it
Yeah.
was-
It's very.
Actually, that's exactly what they asked us
Yeah,
last
it's-
time, how time you're a board member, what was the process to get you on the board? Yeah, so yeah, they asked us some of the practices of the board as well.
Yeah, it's easy.
Uh,
It's super easy.
So can survive it, I'm sure you'll be fine.
So, but this all came back, let's just with Alex's question, I do think for the renewal hearing, which will be the week of the 9th through the 13th, Harry has already said he can be there. I think having at least one other board member would be great.
In Albuquerque?
It is in Santa Fe. It's in front of the Public Education Commission and they sit in a building. Is it the
It's the
Jerry
same week?
Apodaca building?
Yes,
Okay, so it's.
Same week
300
as
Don
Tamaya.
Gaspar.
It is the same week, but it may be like during a whole day of their training. And I pointed out to PCS and him that maybe wasn't the best time to do their whole training since it's a renewal week. That was just poor
But we
planning on
can
their
do
part.
the online training if we miss that, but
You
I
could.
can go, because I always go to.
Yeah.
And it's only an hour.
Well, even less because you're so far north of Albuquerque. It's nice and
Oh,
close.
true.
Yeah. So Harry and Alex are gonna come to
Yeah,
the
I
renewal
might be
hearing.
interested in
Come
that
on.
too.
And you're all
Yeah,
welcome.
but
If you,
that might be interesting.
yeah,
I would say, yeah, you
But
should
we gotta
go.
make sure it's not a quorum.
No, we can publish it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just publish a notice that a quorum will be present.
For
No
the
action will be
renewal.
discussed.
great. I would love, yeah, everyone. And if Jim wants to come, that
But
would
we're
be
only
great.
getting 10 minutes. Is that what
We
you told me?
only, so yeah, the way that I understand what it looks
Yes.
like.
15 seconds each if you wanna get.
No,
on
you
board
guys
now.
won't speak at all. You'd just be there for moral support.
okay.
And when we address financial deficiencies in the past, Harry gets to speak.
So what,
I shared the report with you. I sent
No,
it to you.
totally.
So we get to do a 10-minute presentation. And what that looks like is up to us. Santa Fe School of the Arts brings like, I don't know, a whole mariachi band or whatever they do. They like do a whole show. And I want to do a whole show. We've contacted Escher to create a movie for us. I've talked to the drama kids. We're gonna do some sort of presentation. I would like it to be interactive. I wanna make the PEC members do stuff with us. Uh-huh.
Start a fire.
I'm gonna make them start a fire.
Santa Fe.
I was thinking about having the kids do Will's like snowblind and frostbitten thing and see if they can put up a tent blindfolded, but we'll see what we do. And then after our presentation, the PEC is allowed to ask us questions about all of the information we've uploaded into Epicenter and ask questions about test scores or finance or whatever it is. And then whoever is there that's best to answer the question can. Mostly it's me on the hot seat, but I may say, oh, can I have a GC member answer that question? I think they have more insight or something like that, or people can offer. Wouldn't you agree with that's how it
Totally.
works? Yeah,
So it's gonna be on one of those days between. the night.
yes.
We don't know
And
yet.
and I swear I was told it's the 12th, but I couldn't find that information anywhere. And I asked Charter School Division yesterday and she said they have not been set. But I have on my calendar written hearing PEC on the 12th. And maybe, I don't know.
You just that day.
I don't know.
Okay,
But anyway, it'll be sometime that week.
okay, so that's pretty much what we're responsible for.
Moral support and physical presence
And signing forms.
and signing forms.
and this is from December 9th to December 12th.
13th.
13th, okay.
And as soon as that date is set, I will share it
Okay.
out with everyone because I want to invite families to come up if they want to be there. It's nice to have a bunch of people in the audience. I was at the last one. I was on the GC for it, and Aldo really had a presence, and it feels good to show up with like a presence.
And I think it was Michelle
Yeah,
Navarro.
she
It
spoke.
was great that she was
Great.
there. It's like very timely.
It was great. Yeah, so student speakers, but we will have some sort of presentation and a video.
And what are the dates of the PCSNM
That I don't
Event.
remember. Sometime that week. I
Oh, just
got,
it usually last a week.
I asked Missy, she has no idea, she
Okay.
said she's not involved.
No,
with it.
she's not. That's
Yeah.
not, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's fine. I can
just
find
ask
out.
Wayne, yeah.
Great. Okay, director's report down. We have 21 minutes before my goal of 7:30 expires. Old business. Jim was going to talk to you about the director's evaluation. Did you two get together?
He didn't talk to me, he didn't come.
So last meeting, Hannah acknowledged that she had a 2-year contract, and so there wasn't really a huge rush. I feel okay about that. We still need to nail it down. But Jim, seemed like Jim really wants to be involved. Thought he was gonna try to talk to you.
But we put it together, put the whole thing together. Did that get shared?
No. We had some different thoughts about what we had put together, but when you say we put it together, you mean when we met and we
No,
each took a section?
I mean, Jim and Amy and I met
Oh,
over the summer.
So here we
we
go.
haven't seen that.
Okay, here we go.
We have
That's
not
what
seen
we
that.
need to see.
That's what we're missing, I guess.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, I think that's all that we can do then without seeing that.
Okay, I'll send that.
All right, there are, I guess I called medical marijuana new business. There are 9 old business policy revisions that we talked about, that we mentioned at our last meeting, and then that I emailed to y'all. My hope is that they're straightforward enough that there's not a whole lot of discussion, but I want to make sure. Does anybody have any comments about any of it?
I missed them.
Read it twice.
Oh, they
It's
came
just
before. I thought you got those. You just didn't get the bylaws.
I got the bylaws. I didn't.
Oh,
get
Yeah,
these
they
came
were.
before.
Okay.
Okay,
These are the juicy ones.
well, not really.
The only one, the emergency drills one. Can you look at that one?
And the thing you guys had done it because I
We did.
heard them all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
That's
heard them
I
all.
counted them, yeah, I was, in fact, when I read the point, I was like, oh, yep, I did them all.
And at least this year, I remember to come warn Mario. Last year, we did one and they're like, oh no, there's a fire. So
Oh
anyway.
my gosh. How nice.
Not to the point that now when we see the thing, we don't, there's
just
no
ignore it.
reaction around, like, whenever.
Yeah, right.
Doing whatever.
Any other questions about any of those?
This is when, right, and how often?
Yeah, what to do?
Now they said by the end of the year, so it's, very generic this timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought most of these were probably non-controversial, because the policy committee basically did what statute said we needed to do.
So I have a question, and it's not a discussion, just something that I don't seem to understand very well about the homeless youth policy. I thought was very interesting that I was just, so it seems that the school can intervene to help the kids that are not attending the school as well. Is that what it says? There is a point where it says that, so school origin, sorry, let me find it again. So, for example, at some point it says that this includes the pre-K students.
Huh.
I probably missed that in looking through the policy.
Okay, so that got me thinking, oh, so this means that the policy covers students that are not out of school, and then further down at some point it says something about leaving the students in the school where they are to guarantee the better.
Which is only relevant to a district of more than one school.
Exactly, so those two things got me thinking if they were real or if they were a mistake.
I'd say that's boilerplate language that
Yeah.
should have been stricken. That's my
Yeah.
guess.
Sounds like we missed it.
Okay, so I'm glad I catched it.
The second one you mentioned
So this is the part,
isn't bad, it's just extra
Moot.
words. It's moot. The pre-K implies that we
Yeah.
can do something we can't do.
exactly, it says that we are gonna enroll them,
Enroll them.
and so this.
So
seems
perhaps
like-
we should actually strike that.
Yeah. but that tells you that they do homework.
yeah, impressive.
You
And
did very good.
point two of that one,
Homeless students will receive educational services for which they're eligible, such as special education and language services. That's
so
good.
if we make the motion, that, approve deleting C1,
Well, you don't have to
No.
delete, you're just deleting,
We need to
including
include, yeah,
pre-K.
just strike
Beautiful.
including pre-K.
Yeah.
beautiful.
You're not-
Homeless students enroll in and have a full and equal opportunity to succeed to school.
Yeah.
And then let me find then the other piece about the other people in other schools.
I'm not sure we really have to worry about that.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay, so I think that was the only thing that stuck out to me.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one question on the racialized aggression policy. The policy is it won't be tolerated? It's
What?
prohibited? I mean, that's the policy? Does there need to be more of a policy on what, I mean,
That's what Kelly told us we had to do.
that's what we have to do. I guess then from there, everything else can, any other disciplinary stuff can fall into place.
When it gets incorporated in the student handbook.
No, but I think it means that it's a non-tolerated behavior.
Right, which is, there's a list
There's a
of.
list,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It gets added to that list.
And then the non-tolerated behaviors there are no consequences listed anywhere, correct? And
This one says,
Sorry, what?
I don't know if there's,
for all these non-tolerated behaviors,
Mhm.
there's no consequences listed anywhere, right?
Well,
there is
Because,
something.
Yeah, in the handbook, there's consequences. I mean, it is,
There are interventions, right?
right, there's interventions, there's consequences. There are certain non-tolerated behaviors, which it says, discipline, suspension, up to and including expulsion.
That's
okay, so
that's the line.
will
I'm-
this one, falls under that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the same with drugs and fighting, and it says these are not tolerated at ALCS. This can lead to
Okay, so
discipline,
that will get added, right.
suspension, and up to expulsion.
Thank you.
You
No,
bet.
thank you.
I was still worried about where she's supposed to go.
This was.
I
the
can't
other
hear.
part of the
Okay.
scope of origin, the one that marked on the side, that paragraph. I feel like I said,
I'm also happy to believe it. Now that you found it.
yeah. What about this one? School of Origins, ASCS will maintain School of Origins. That should be a comment. ASCS will maintain students in the School of Origins to promote school stability and great education outcomes overall. So why would we even talk about?
You would-
Just
You
strike
would-
it.
It's
strike it.
irrelevant to.
So should
Yeah.
we
Sure.
remove the
Yeah.
entire D block?
Mhm.
I want to make this motion since I found it.
Yeah, right. No, the appropriate person. Anything else? I mean, the other policies?
Unfortunately, yes. Like, what you
No,
got?
I didn't get
Oh.
a chance to read them thoroughly, so. Just go along. Go along, Get along to go.
So who is our homeless liaison here?
It's Nancy Stevens.
Okay.
We do.
That's one in the fifth wheel or something, or no?
No, truly homeless. We have truly homeless students.
And we've had the homeless students, I mean, they're truly homeless anyway, but
Right,
couch
right.
surfing,
Couch surfing
Staying
is homeless,
grandparents.
fifth wheel is homeless, garage is homeless. This is like without any walls homeless.
But the definitions though would encompass people that live in RV parks. So, as I
Yes,
I
no,
stated
the-
here. You guys know
McKinney
that.
Vento is the law that covers homeless students, and it's very clear that any kid that doesn't have a stable, permanent home is homeless.
No, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to argue with that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring up that by the definition, yeah. Absolutely.
But they bring up how we're not prepared. Don't they consider that? That's right.
Yeah,
But that is part of the diversity of the school.
If they were to bring it up during the hearing, I think that that's a totally reasonable thing to point out, that diversity is not just,
It's not race. It's not-
just race, it's socioeconomic, it's
Yeah.
cultural, it's, we have a
Sexual
huge number
orientation, I
of
mean, that's so- that's a
LGBTQIA
big one,
kids.
I think. that we should bring
Our
up.
percentage is probably double Silver's. And we are a safe place for those kids, and I think that that's super important.
It is.
Yeah.
So
So
in
okay,
what,
Alex?
in what hearing should
Okay.
that be brought up, you're saying?
If they brought it up, last
Oh, again,
5
about
years
the
ago,
diversity,
they
I see.
did bring it up in the PEC hearing. I don't know that it would be brought up again. I don't think
They
that.
might bring it up about
That
us.
that
but-
commissioner's not
About
there
the
anymore.
GC?
GC, yeah.
It's
Mr.
true.
Castellanos is,
Alex, we-
so do you want to make a motion?
Yes. So I'll make the motion.
Oh, we're not in
No,
action
we're
yet.
not
Okay.
there.
yet, okay.
We can't make it.
Good, Rob, you're excited.
Yes.
Now, moving on to new business. The GC bylaw revisions.
There's a couple of things.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a few things. to
I have
add.
one about
The
that.
3-year term,
We'll start with LSM.
we have a list of officers or members. We should have a starting date on it because it's a 3-year limit.
We should.
Like, you should be close. because I don't know.
It's my second term. I'm on my second term.
Right, but you're only allowed to serve 3 years at a time.
No, you can
No,
serve
2
consecutive
consecutive
terms.
Oh, no, it says 1-year break in the bylaws. It says you have to have a 1-year break.
I
It
think
says
that's
they need
after
to be
2
staggered.
terms. The way I understood it was after. 2
Should I,
Let's, can you find the
Yeah.
spot?
Yeah,
by chance?
I have.
He's
I'll
got-
try to find it. Yeah, and I was
I
thinking
can
maybe
put
you
them
can put
on.
it on the screen.
I need to find them first.
Sure.
But like for me, do I have to stand down in March after? 3 years?
No, I swear, well, let's see what the bylaws say.
To be allowed to serve 2 consecutive full terms of office.
Okay, and then each term's 3 years.
After 1 year of absence, then you can come back for 2 more if you want.
Okay, so I missed the 2 terms in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That was my-
So
Yeah.
this was one of the areas that required extensive cleanup because we had 2 conflicting policies. But we've gone with the one where when you're appointed starts the clock, which was not, so there was another conflicting version in the same
Can't
document
start after March.
that said your terms are from July 1 to June 30. If somebody leaves, the appointed person fills the rest of the term. So we've eliminated that. Now our terms are based on when we got appointed.
Makes more sense.
I'm not sure I agree, but I went along.
Really?
Yeah, and it's, to me, it's not a big deal,
I say, don't want to talk about it.
right? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Exactly
I
right.
get that.
Well, I have, okay.
Yeah.
You wanna go?
Sure. I have a new piece, just another contradiction that I think I found between the statement of cooperation and so the contradiction is that you corrected the amount of meetings per year from 8 to 11, right?
The-
You said that the governing
11,
council were gonna
yep.
meet the 11, but before was
It says 8 to 10.
and so I think that here it says 8 to 10, so these 2 things are contradicting each other. I just wanted to bring it up again, thinking that maybe we should correct
Yeah, we should.
probably the statement of cooperation, right, to match whatever the bylaws say.
I said, I vote for 8 to 10.
I will for 8.
We have to meet every month essentially.
Well,
Every
we
month
are-
minus 1 month.
Minus
Minus
Days
one.
you don't show up.
I mean, I thought it was 11.
So I
It's
can
been
make,
11.
so I can make 2 motions. And we can make 2.
We do 8 to 10
If-
anyway.
if
We
it
all-
makes you
all of us
excited,
do
yes.
stays.
Okay, you got the signal cooperation. Anything else?
Not that I noticed.
Alex?
Yeah, I have a few things. Trying to figure out how to start here. Where's my starting point?
Okay, I'm sharing it up here.
Oh, thanks, Anna.
Yeah, should not begin after March 30th. I didn't understand.
Well,
Like, we
That's
start when we're.
because of the,
Yeah, me too. I
that's
think
because of the
it
training.
makes sense.
Yeah,
It's because of the so we could change that because the
This-
training requirements have changed. But there was a time when you get in trouble if you had a governing council member who had voted, who had not gotten all their hours in by the end of the year. And if they started April 1, the odds were against them getting all their hours. That was the thinking,
End of the
But
year,
they're
solar
free,
year
they're
or
online,
Yeah,
there's
school is
5
free.
hours.
June 30th, sorry. So you want to just take that out?
I would take it, because we're not abiding by it. Like, Jim started after March.
yeah. Wait, I'm, okay,
Jim,
where are you
yeah,
right
I
now?
made
Where are
Jim
you?
promise to get his training.
What page are you on, Harry, so I
Where
can
is he
be
right now?
projecting?
What for
Yeah,
this
but
that
he
we're
started
talking
This
about?
discussion.
What is
Yeah.
it?
What page are we on?
That's a full sentence right there.
Where are you guys?
Who has found it? Who-
I,
Yeah, it's
I'm
here, it's
asking,
here.
I'm not even
I know.
looking. I
And
don't
I'm
know what
looking
page.
It's not here.
Yeah.
Who found the March 31st date?
Go, see, you just scroll down, scroll back up the next, paragraph above. Go on,
Oh, so it's a
go on, keep going, right there, right
Oh,
there,
there
right
it
there,
is.
right there, right there.
oh, terms of
Terms
our
Shall not begin
Yeah,
after March 31.
Right,
Yeah.
fiscal year, so. I
our
don't
fiscal
understand
year.
that.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
We do that all the time.
I don't see any problem
And-
with it personally.
Also, the next sentence, each council member shall serve until the successor is approved and seated.
Get rid of it.
also
Also,
doesn't
we
make
should get rid of that.
Yeah.
So get rid of both those sentences, I would say. Hannah.
This is, I just have,
You have what? You don't have editing privilege?
no, I can do it, but I don't want 7 different versions. I want you to do it and send me the clean one.
Okay.
Okay,
But
thank you.
it's gonna have to be part of a motion, so I'm writing down the things.
Okay,
And what page is that?
first page.
Yeah, it's very early.
This is
in
the
Page
very
one.
first page.
March 31 sentence.
So
You-
from terms
Your
to
attitude towards Word is like
fiscal
mine towards
year.
Google Docs.
It is,
Because for me,
it
it'd be
is.
super easy, just do it and then date it when you,
If you
Will you rename
want
it?
to screen share,
Oh,
run
okay.
Zoom and edit, go ahead and see it's getting all flickery.
oh, gosh, she's looking for
Yeah.
anything. Flickery.
You're
It's getting
editing right now?
flickery.
I'm editing right now, is that okay?
Not in my opinion, but if you're the chair, so.
This
Don't
is,
we have to
it's not
vote for
open in
that?
Word.
You have to open it.
I think this will actually be more accurate than us trying to translate our motion into
Okay.
the editing. Sebastiano. I mean, Alex, sorry, you're on still.
Oh, okay. Article 3, officers. Any officer may resign, blah, blah, blah. Any such resignation shall take effect on the date of receipt of such notice. Is there, can we can't impose it, but we can request a 30-day notice of resignation. Because these people, these two council members have now walked out the door without any looking back. And we could be in trouble if somebody else does that.
Like, we have 30 days between meetings, how does it change?
But if they tell us like a few days before the meeting, which may have happened, that is not, if we are left without enough people, that does become
Right.
problematic. I think it's a reasonable request to me.
I mean, when there's
Like,
no way
if
to
you
enforce
can.
it.
No, please, if
But
possible,
if we
give
could-
notice. 30
Or-
days notice at least.
Or if it is a case where it brings us under the number, then we report.
And we what?
Then require
the
it.
30-day notice if it brings us under the required number of members.
I mean, it seems unnecessarily wordy to me, but
So you can see what I did up here. And the deal is the person can resign and then just not show up. And this gives us 30 days extra to report it to the PED. and to
Which
find
would be
replacement.
great,
So-
because that timely reporting is
Doesn't-
challenging.
Now, that is not a resignation. Oh, to
It
get it.
takes 2 months to get it.
Well, so this gives us a head start.
And then vote it.
But my point is, this doesn't force them to keep working for us.
Right.
They just stop working for us, but they're officially still on
Yeah.
the council.
So what do you do about, because it takes 2 months to get to the person, how do you help this month? There'll be a month where we-
Yeah,
we
that
can
could
have
happen.
everybody.
It could happen, I agree, that could happen.
And there's nothing we can do
Yeah,
I
about
don't
it.
know if you have a suggestion.
That also doesn't give, sorry. There's no onus on the person to give us notice in this wording.
So you're saying, I mean,
So
this
that
is just
doesn't help
to
us.
encourage them, it doesn't solve the
sorry.
problem.
This doesn't solve it?
There's no onus on the, where I'm asking people to give 30 days notice.
This is giving 30 days notice.
No, it's
It doesn't,
not.
it is, because it
It's-
doesn't take effect until 30 days have gone by.
But Alex wants them to feel morally compelled to be helpful.
Fine, but,
And she wants the wording in there.
okay,
So, you
propose
know-
alternate wording, because to me, this does what you want, but if you have alternate wording, I'm open.
I mean, it's basically that wording or no wording at all means the same thing to me. If
I mean,
any such resignation takes effect 30 days after the date, puts no onus on the human being to forewarn us that they're leaving.
By
There's
giving 30 days written notice? Yes.
There's
because,
also-
you know, the
Why don't
30
we-
days
why don't-
after,
Harry, why don't we leave both?
Okay.
Leave both in there. That
Okay.
gives us a 2-month
Take out
window.
the beginning.
There we go.
It doesn't
Now
give
it's
us,
good.
yeah, but.
it
sorry.
doesn't give us 2-month window. October 1, I give you notice that on October 31, I'll be resigning. It takes effect on October 31 because I gave it to you
Right.
on October 1.
Right.
It doesn't give us extra time, but maybe it introduces the moral suasion that Hannah says you're looking for.
And Bobby said it would be better because the other
That's
wording,
not more, whatever,
More
just
would invite that I am,
ethical, just
you know,
be
obligated
kind,
to
just being a
the
good
next,
person.
Yeah,
which
that is
Right.
why that,
you
I
can't
understand.
obligate me
No.
to,
I
and
think
so like,
There's no
it's,
I agree there's no enforcement.
yeah, there is
No.
no,
There
it
is
doesn't
no-
do anything.
We all
like-
know there's no
It doesn't,
enforcement.
it does do something because it's. doesn't do anything, but
No,
it's
no,
just
I'm just saying
cynics.
it makes more sense to do, right, to give you 30 days of written notice that poses a moral, you know,
Right,
thing to
right.
the person.
Yeah.
That doing the other things which would imply that those people are obligated to come to the next meeting after they resign, which they have not, and we can't do anything
can't
about it.
enforce that.
Officially
So, yeah.
failed here, 7:32.
I
So does
know.
this work for you?
Fine, yes.
It does?
So are we gonna remove the 30 days after, because that
No,
does
we can
not.
Both,
No,
both
we're
work.
keeping them
Let's
both.
leave
Okay.
them both. I like both.
Okay,
I think it's pointless.
quick one, Article
All
4.
right, I'll give you an example why it's not pointless. Let's say I ignore the requirement to give 30 days written notice, and I give you
One day.
my letter, one day. October 1, I give you, I'm resigning October 2. So I violated the first one, but the second one still applies for legal purposes. The second one still says, we don't have to notify the PED that you resigned until November 1.
And I have gotten dinged this year more than once for not notifying in a timely way, because I didn't even know I was supposed to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, just a quick, Article 4 under meetings. If we changed all the language to non-gender,
Let me go back. I'm sorry, I can't concentrate because Alex,
Got 30 days to possess.
30 days, that's the correct grammar.
It is, because it is the written notice. 30 days owns that notice.
So it's not
Always use
30
an
days.
apostrophe.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because possessives in English
People
are
leave that off
weird.
all the time.
Yeah, I did not realize it was possessive. I thought it was just 30 days written notice.
okay. If we changed everything to their as opposed to his or her?
Tina did and I approve.
Okay,
That's
so we
where-
missed one.
Okay, where is it?
Duties of the vice chairperson. Should the chair leave the council prior to the expiration of his or her term?
Look at that.
And then going down, duties of the secretary, certify and keep at the principal office of the governing council. What the heck is that? We
There
don't have an
isn't
office.
such a thing.
Right.
Yeah, there is. What do you mean? your office is the principal office, I think. Not the principals.
Why would
principal.
my office be the governing council's
The principal office, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The principal office is 410 West 10th Street.
Okay, fine, good enough,
That's the principal office.
good enough.
I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
For production.
Yes,
They are, that's true. The old ones are upstairs.
but they're still at 410.
They are at
West
410
Yeah.
West 10.
Um,
Well, that was a fine tooth comb.
But I appreciate everyone taking time because the bylaws
Seriously.
are super important. And making sure they align to not just what we do, but what we want is important.
There's a question here, and I take shitty notes, pardon my language, everybody on the webcast.
Your fans will never
My
see you the
fans will
same
never
way.
The strikeout is not from me, it's from the print. So it's weird
It's to
that,
be, there's printed, interestingly, I think there's a setting for that. Governing council may, at its discretion, adopt a policy that some meetings will be. So hold is the new language.
okay, so that's
Hold
not,
is,
not
yeah,
striked out.
Should be there, not struck out, but underlined. So what page is that? Article 4, meetings.
So maybe it's the
Let me look.
printer, my printer, they put the underline as a strike or
Let me
something.
make sure, because I made that change. Five. This. You have an interesting version.
Regular meeting.
Why is, I'm not seeing what you're seeing.
No, you're in special meetings, it's not the
Such-
regular meeting.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
It should be here. The corner, we go down a little bit. In the paragraph that starts with the governing council may at its discretion. Oh, you see, you
Ah.
strike out all of that. So what did they, what did I do? What did they do?
No, you got it right. I don't know
That was
why,
so weird.
I don't know why that is both struck out and underlined. That makes no sense. You- There we go. This is what I want. See what happens. So it is struck through,
Command S.
not in track changes, but as a text. Looks like.
Now it's telling you how to
There we go.
unstrike it out. I don't know if that's what you're trying to do.
Strike through. There we go.
Oh, there.
It was not struck through because it was deleted. It was, for some reason, struck through as a matter of text formatting.
Yeah. Like if you
Unlike all
already
the other
there,
deletes.
struck through, and so that's like on my,
okay, this seems like a crazy question, but was this deleted? This is part of it still,
no, that's the part that they deleted, and it's the part that they stay.
added. Okay, I couldn't figure that out,
Underline is added.
okay,
Why you underline so much stuff?
insurance for governing council agents, Article 5, miscellaneous.
Yep.
Authorizing the purchase and maintenance of insurance on behalf of any agent of the governing council. It doesn't mandate the whole council.
May otherwise. May adopt a resolution, yeah, right?
Authorizing the purchase. So any
I can't-
includes, could include all.
But these are agents of the governing council.
Yeah, it's not the
So
governing
for
council.
some reason, we were gonna ask a governing council member to do something, and that person said, I want to be specially insured for it. This
Okay,
is
so it's not
allowing
the
us to
general
provide for
insurance.
that. No, that's a matter of that, we don't have any say in it at all. That's provided by law.
We have a current policy.
It is, it's law that,
It's.
That we have.
so
insurance.
part of our, what,
Part of the
Tom's
general liability
NIMSIA
policy,
general
directors
liability
and
policy.
I'm just curious, because I never hear anything about.
Yeah,
Yeah, in other organizations, you have to make sure. In public ones,
Yeah, we just assume everything's
it's just
done.
all covered. And we covered budget.
Okay, and then the most, one right at the end, the very last one, which says that
So recruitment and what is it?
nepotism,
Nepotism.
neither shall the council elect a member to the member to the council is the spouse, father, father-in-law, blah, 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 of an employee.
That's standard state policy.
Well, we,
You're violating it.
How? You have.
But so the whole thing with it is, right, that
Avery.
as a
Oh, I
governing
didn't
council
know.
member, you can't influence Avery getting hired. Him being here and then you joining later, you have no influence on his hiring. And I know that with, because I've seen this with school boards, they have language in there that explains that thing, right? Like if an employee already works somewhere and then you join, well, but you could, if there were something,
I mean, when we
And we do
resolved
not
it last
participate
time
in
was
people
how we
hiring.
said he's not gonna vote.
Yes,
right?
but that's not what this says.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
And we are not involved with the hiring of personnel.
No,
Well,
you're
you do
not.
that.
Right.
So-
But
But
even if you're not,
it does, yeah.
No, I know
since
this is
I'm
the
her boss
opposite.
and she's Avery's boss, there's a
Yeah.
potential conflict.
There is a. That's not.
So Kelly, did Kelly refer that back to her and
That's a
see what
good-
She
that's a
hasn't
good
looked
idea.
at our bylaws.
Let's have
Let's
Kelly
have her
take a
look at our
look.
bylaws. I'll send them,
Like, does she even know we have a certain?
I can
I
explain that
want
to her.
her to look and see if this is the required language. Because if this is the required language, then there's trouble. If not, then there's something we can do about it.
Just trouble for you. Well, and us.
No, for all of us.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So I can't
We're gonna-
upload these bylaws yet, obviously, into Epicenter. But I will send them to Kelly
Mhm.
tomorrow.
We might want to have a special meeting.
We might.
yeah.
Well, also, because we're only 5 members.
And can I
Also
add
that.
another thing? It says, neither shall the council elect.
That's the part that she's talking about.
Yeah, but we
That's
did
what we
it,
violated.
well, I guess because we did elect
You
you as a
elected
member
me,
of the
yeah.
council, yeah.
And Avery was already.
Well,
I
we
will
were-
point out that Wayne sat here this entire time and he is supposed to be guiding the
Training us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
governing
okay.
council on all of those things.
That was
too.
our loophole though.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. Well, not looking at this language, but
Yeah.
talking about the issue.
Yeah. Me too. Okay, let's just,
Let's move
See what
on for
Kelly
the
says.
moment.
and if
And
we have
see-
to have a special meeting to vote on them, we can do it via Zoom.
You okay with that, Hannah?
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Hannah,
I'll reach out to Kelly in the morning.
I want to save this now.
Okay. See,
Now I need you.
it should actually be auto saving because it's in OneDrive.
And
Oh,
then
and we've lost.
this- Why did you delete all this?
Because it's not what we do. We have, just like the other issue, we had two conflicting
Oh, okay,
processes
okay.
for nominating.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have.
Thank you guys for taking a look at those. So I suggest we table item 13C when we get there. Okay, 11B is medical marijuana addition to the wellness handbook. Emailed this out also, if you got that. It was something that Kelly had identified. And somehow we didn't get the policy done to you. But it was easy to add it to the wellness handbook. And I think, if I remember correctly, I just took the statutory language. towards the end. That's within, it's about 90% through the document. It says medical cannabis.
I know that.
No, I sent it was a different email. I think, I can't remember when.
It's the statutory language. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not gonna outwit that.
And what it is the wellness policy. It's the wellness policy handbook.
Violated, apparently, today.
Today,
Just this very day.
but he's not approved yet, so.
Do you want me to read it if you all couldn't find it? Or-
It's boilerplate.
Yeah.
We're not gonna second guess
Boilerplate.
what it should be.
And you're okay with it, Hannah?
I am,
You saw it?
yeah, and I shared it with Mark, the nurse, and he was good with it.
Okay,
And he keeps saying, we really need a medical marijuana policy, so he was happy that we have one.
oh, good.
All right.
Okay. Then 11C, committee assignments. Excellent. Alex.
We're supposed to have two board members on the finance committee.
Oh, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of problems. That's one of them.
Two, I never get notices about the meetings, so I miss them all.
If we make you the chair, will you send that notice?
Sure, what?
Each committee has to have a chair, and it's their responsibility to send out notices of the meeting.
Chair. I don't know anything about finance. I can share it,
Are you not listed here as finance?
but I was. I asked to be taken off SAC last year.
Okay,
And you were
Meetings
taken off
ago.
SAC last
Put it
year.
on finance and that,
so I was
Are you
working off an
on?
old.
I don't know,
document.
wasn't
You
it
were,
the one I
because
shared with
that was
you?
months ago.
Because I'm also on the risk management committee
I don't get any notices for anything.
My
now. You
opinion is we
need,
should
Alex,
start
I
from
think you need to
scratch.
reach out to Pete Rankin and tell him. This has been going on for a long time.
For which one,
I'd
risk
love to
management?
go,
Yeah.
but
Tell him to put you on the list, because I think that's where you're going through the cracks.
those are only two problems. I did not know.
Okay. So
forgot
on
that
curriculum,
already.
right now, the GC, we don't have, oh, Jim is joining curriculum.
Okay,
Then,
wait a minute, I'm gonna try to write this down. So Jim is on curriculum,
yes. And he asked for that.
okay?
Put in there. On risk management, we have Alex McKinsey.
And me.
I don't see that.
Alex,
I know.
I do have you, oh, no, never mind.
All right, I'm adding you right now. And I'll fix how you're bolded randomly later.
So Pete is the chair and Avery is the co-chair?
Yes.
What does that mean? Are they both
When-
co-chairs?
No, when Pete's not here, Avery steps in, is what that
Or
means.
he's vice chair?
Vice chair. Policy,
Hang on, going off the
Did you
task.
take
So,
Amy off of policy?
area and policy.
so editing in Zoom is really challenging. It is not something I enjoy, just saying. So Amy's not in policy. She's been taken off. The only GC right now in policy is Harry. That's fine. We
Yep,
only
that's
need one
fine.
GC in policy.
That's fine.
In audit, we only have Harry.
So we need another.
We need two GCs in audit.
Volunteers.
Audit only meets a few times a year. It is only right now during the audit
And these people, the meetings are just sitting there listening.
via Zoom.
Going on that facilities.
You're good. You don't need to do more.
I honestly do not disappoint on what I am on because I know I've been participating at least to SAC, SHAC, development and equity this past year.
Yeah, and that's too many. That's crazy.
And you know, and equity has we've met once, and
Well,
and the facilities has met never, like
They
so.
should start up
But
again.
now we should start
So,
meeting.
but to the question of audit, you're saying you don't want to add that committee? Is that why you're bringing this up?
No, I'm
Meets
just
twice a
saying, I
year?
wanna,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I don't know.
seriously light.
I know nothing about it, but I will do it.
You ask good questions. That's the prime one. Thank you, Alex.
Mhm.
So I have used risk management and audit.
And I'm also on development, but
Yeah, and I cannot edit when I'm screen sharing. It doesn't
So
work
just-
right.
Then don't do
So,
it. I'm writing things down.
okay,
But I do need the list. Seeing it is helpful.
okay, we can do that. I'm happy to project the list.
development and nominating was, we married them together to one committee.
It's not a natural pairing.
It's not.
What was that, my wrong?
It
about
was
that?
because development
Doesn't
never met,
Makes sense, honestly.
but now it meets. And now they have nothing to do with each other.
Okay,
So Alex, I have you development, nominating, risk management and audit.
yeah, I mean,
Is that
That's
accurate?
too many.
it's too many, but
Well,
drop
audit hardly counts.
Okay,
And I don't know if
nominating,
nominating,
well, we,
right now
we
you
have,
have someone.
I have
right?
someone.
We don't need two on risk management. We only need two on
That's
audit
correct.
and finance. So wherever there's double, take one off.
well, do you want to come off or does Alex T want to come off?
Fine where I'm at.
Alex T, you want to take risk management off your list? If it's important to you, you can stay on.
Well, I don't have to be on the committee, I can just still go,
That's true.
but then can I speak up?
Of course.
I suppose
That's
that
fine.
depends on Pete. Okay, I'm taking you off.
I mean, nominating is not really, okay, it's fine, take me off.
But I'm happy to leave you on also. You can have four. Leave you off, okay.
No, yeah, leave me on there.
On there.
Yeah.
RM. Okay, you're still on there.
No. No,
Alex M, you have risk management and facilities.
Fine, that was finance.
I didn't know you had just volunteered for finance.
I was.
I was
always on
finance
there.
for him too.
I was put on the months ago.
You're on finance also?
No, I brought him, I know for
I've been
finance
in
next to his name, you also
Okay.
understood too.
So we'll take off
I've
risk
been on
management.
it for like a year.
Let's take you off the risk management.
So you have only finance?
And
Finance.
facilities.
No,
But-
facilities for silver.
no.
That still would
That's-
mean being on the facilities
Yeah.
committee here.
Can you,
I've never been on it.
Yeah.
No, what I meant was I was on
Sorry,
risk
Alex, we'll come back to
management and finance. Since you're taking me off the risk management, put me on the.
You
But
tell me
put
what
me
to put you
on
on.
one where you're missing a board member. We don't need two
Okay.
board members.
All right, we'll figure that out as we go. We're not clear yet. Yes,
If you need a board member, throw me in.
okay,
But if you don't, just. don't.
perfect.
what,
Capito. Capito. Capito.
what does it look like if he stays on risk management? Because I don't want to be beholden to going to that if I don't have to, but that's what I'm sort of missing. I'm on 4 committees.
We can put him back on risk management if you don't want him. He's just said we can put him on something that needs somebody, and that would need somebody.
Also, because in our regular meetings, one of us who's on the list reports.
Yes.
what happened. Nice to have somebody. push.
Although my intention is not to make those rote, but to only have reports when needed. Have a report when it's needed, rather than require a report every month.
Okay, so
But that's something else.
let's then, yeah, take me off of it because I'm gonna. we
Get
have
back
to-
on.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good. Risk management. On off. Sebastiano,
Yes.
I have you down as SAC, SHAC, and facilities.
But then I was definitely in development because I participate to all the meetings. So I would like to be in development because I
Okay.
think that's something I
That's
can
good. Yeah, no, I want you
do
there.
that. And on honestly, I would be like to be off SAC because that's a lot of I got entangled in a lot of other activities that are not just the meetings, and I already did that for 1.5 years. So
You
we
did
have to
your
do-
time. I think
I
you're
would
offset.
be-
That's
Do you
fair.
think we can
To be
give
off SAC.
SAC to Jim?
I don't know. I think we have to ask Jim.
We have to have a governing council member on SAC, as I recall.
So what about I stay until we don't work this out?
So that'll be SAC question mark, and Jim will get SAC question mark. Okay,
And then I've been participating to the only equity meeting that they did.
It's getting started up again this
But
year.
who's
We don't-
heading it?
Yeah, but that's not
Ally, I think
required.
is gonna be, it is required. It's
For a
Yeah,
done.
I
GC
would do it.
member?
Oh, for a GC on equity? No,
I
just
don't
the
think so
equity
either.
committee. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. And
I-
since it hasn't
I
even
wouldn't
met and probably won't for months while we get it. It's toggling now with resource development. So resource is gonna be every other month and equity is gonna be every other month. They're all on the calendar. Ally and I just got the whole committee calendar finalized on the website, so you can look to and see when they
So
meet.
resource development is the committee, not development.
Or is
Right?
that recalled?
is that right?
No,
Is
is it the
what?
The
same?
name of the committee is resource
Resource
development,
development is the
not
name.
just
of-
development.
Right, now it is resource development.
So nobody's on equity and we're okay with it.
I am.
Okay,
I'm fine.
okay,
I'm fine also.
okay.
And what if I, he's kind of the expert.
There's no GC member required for the equity. Pretty sure.
If you need to ask his advice, like whether he thinks we
Because
should.
he's the one that kind of brought it back.
He did, because it's
Right.
a compliance
So I
issue.
would ask him because, you know,
This public meeting might be streamed, I'm not gonna say what I'm doing.
And that's SAC needs to have a board member.
It
right?
does.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes,
why you're staying as a placeholder.
Okay.
until-
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
So, okay, can we go back to your spreadsheet to make sure we're getting all of the committees?
What about the shack, which is on the committee I was
Do
in?
you have, yeah, do you want to get off of Shack?
So the committees here, oh, okay.
Shack is up there too, right?
I was gonna go through and read them off for you. Is that,
Oh,
there is curriculum, there
Okay.
is risk management,
Mhm.
there is SAC, there is resource development. There is shack, there is facilities. There is policy, there is audit, there is finance, there is equity.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. So I'm gonna check them off. Jim's curriculum. Two of you, no. Just Alexander's risk management. SAC is a question mark at the moment. Resource development. Is that?
For who? Who's up there?
Who's up there?
Nobody didn't know. No one didn't know.
DoorDash is heading upstairs.
Check mark.
Huh?
DoorDash just
Somebody
went
with
upstairs.
McDonald's bags, is my understanding. Right? Didn't they say
or it
McDonald's?
could have been also the takeout.
Nobody, I mean, there's no one upstairs.
Yeah, no, there's
Just
no
gonna
one
go
upstairs.
We will now take a 5-minute break.
Hunt down-
Anybody like to go to the
7:30.
recess?
Yeah.
Past 7:30.
Anybody want to go to the
Yeah.
restroom?
I just want to know where the DoorDash, they're probably supposed to be going Centennial.
Is the door open? It shouldn't be open.
There you go, that's the thing.
It shouldn't be open.
Okay, it's been a little chaotic committee discussion.
Well, this conflict sucks because we. Yeah.
Hey, what was the point? What happened?
They're heading to
They were going to the
Centennial, they
dorm.
just went in the wrong place.
Really stoned?
It's DoorDash. They don't live there. They're delivering food.
Thank you. So,
That doesn't
Zach?
mean they're not stoned.
well, I thought the way you were saying it was obviously they are. Because there's DoorDash, I'm like, I don't mean anything different. Check. Is the remaining questions that I
I'd say in shack.
You're willing to
Yeah,
stay there?
yes, I can.
Jim
Moving
really
in.
enjoyed
Should be in
being in
Shack,
Shack because of his background.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
used to run Shack so well. So
Yeah.
he probably would like to be in Shack, but I don't know.
Okay, but we also want him on SAC. So I'm putting Shaq question mark and
Okay.
Sebastiano, your
Zach,
Shaq question mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that
okay.
cool?
Me and Jim are gonna juggle Shaq and
There you
Zach.
go.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna report from the nominating committee right now, if that's all right.
I'm not ready for that
Okay,
because I feel like
but I feel.
I want to make sure these assignments, we've done our job.
And you know,
Finance, we have two, Alex M. and me. Audit, we have two, Alex Tager and me. And SAC, and Shaq, we will have one no matter who it is, and I believe those are the only requirements. SAC, Shaq, audit, finance. Does anybody know otherwise?
No.
Okay. All right, then I guess we're done with this discussion. And pending consultation with Jim, we're good. So you want to report on nominating? Is that what you're saying?
It's a very short report.
Okay, go for it.
We have someone that I'm trying to set up an interview with. Hannah found her. Lauren Diorio. or
Yeah,
something.
Diorio.
Lauren Diorio, and not to be sexist, but she's Will Trace's wife.
Partner.
I am.
For what? For what? Oh,
GC.
the BGC.
So that's gonna get set up soon. That's
She
the-
has an experiential ed background. She's on search and rescue. She has a lot of risk management experience that I think.
Will Tracy's,
Partner.
no, partner, they're not married, so we're
Yeah.
good.
that's still not a conflict?
Does it say partner?
Yes.
He's a contractor.
Yeah,
Oh,
that makes it more of a conflict possible.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that-
Right, it's
Because
easier to
contracted,
fire.
We approved that
Yeah,
contract,
Yeah.
so it's
That's
even
a
more
conflict.
of a problem.
yeah.
That's a
Okay.
conflict.
Well, the fact that we already proved it isn't more of a conflict. That's.
No,
Yeah, but it
there's
would
no
be like
problem.
a
Next year.
nominating, no, and then the verbiage is
So-
like, we should not nominate someone that we have rated with
Right.
someone that we have
Yeah.
hired. So it's totally, it falls totally under the problem.
Okay, so with the problem's being addressed, we're gonna
Yes.
proceed.
We're gonna, right.
We're
We'll
gonna
look
proceed.
into it, but it may be that we can't move forward with nomination. I don't know.
Thanks for looking.
Yeah, everybody else, keep looking.
Keep looking. Yep. Okay. All right, we're in, what?
Can we do a social media post on Instagram, hey parents, you want to be on our governing council?
We can. I sent one out regarding all committees like this
Yeah, I
week.
saw that parents. were-
I think we have a lot of parents
Yeah,
on
we
the
have a lot of
GC, and I
parents.
think we really need to be recruiting community members. I would like the Forest Service and the hospital and the mine
I'm
and
not a
all of,
parent anymore.
that's true.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm still a parent, but, yeah.
So I really would like to recruit out, I really think we need more diversity of voice and interest in the school personally. You can recruit wherever you want.
First,
At the
First, it's a good idea.
I think it
we
is.
have had in the past.
We
Stakeholders
have.
are Parents.
Someone
I
from
don't see a
Western, just
Yeah,
all
but
of the like,
We got two from Western. We need more from Western.
That's
We're a small town,
Yeah.
we don't have that.
Okay, the Forest Service is a good one. Yeah, she was up there. Anything else on nominating?
No.
Okay, governing council input.
Uh,
And number 7.
think we
Still
just-
there, that's number,
12.
number
I think we
12. Don't we read
covered that.
Latin numbers?
We covered
12,
that.
yeah.
Not
really.
after 2 hours
No.
here.
No, I have some input.
I have some,
Okay, you go, Alex T.
no, the finance committee conversation
Yeah,
that Serena brought up.
so I would say, my perspective is not having an in-house business manager
that is the whole problem.
has shut down the finance committee.
Because she chaired it. Melissa chaired finance. It hasn't met since she quit. And so,
And we did look at the reports.
In the
finance
past.
committee, because I was going when she shared it.
Right,
Yeah.
so
And we
that was
did
in
see all
place,
this.
right?
What?
That was already in place.
It was already in place. We were looking at the forms before coming here.
if you noticed on my committee thing, I have Jackie Riley already written into the finance committee. But until she works here, I can't ask her to do that.
Well, how do you guys feel about being patient and waiting for Jackie to get her feet under her?
Yeah.
Then asking her to add this to her duties. being chair of the
Yeah,
finance
we
committee.
tell Serena, we were doing it, we don't have somebody here. No,
Yeah. I'll let Serena know if that's our decision.
And tell her we were doing it.
They should, that's, I mean, Serena knew that probably.
I just wanted to make sure that public input isn't a question and answer time. Even though
Right,
she's
it's not.
staff, we're not, that's really not what public input is supposed to be.
That's fine. I applaud that.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're all good with that informally?
Was that what you wanted to
Yes.
talk about? too?
No, I do have some other things. Actually, one of them is what Wayne, right? So we have to, I need a sense of the group. We don't have to vote. This is not an action item to decide what to do with PCSNM. But I wanted to consult with you before just signing it. Are you all okay with option B this year, since we're in renewal? And I think there's a strong recommendation from Hannah and me that that's what we do.
Option B is their help with the renewal, but not the training.
The full
It's both.
package.
No, it's the full
No,
thing.
Yeah.
You can't get. help with-
Just Kelly
Without
Kelly
that
Cal.
training.
The options are just the training or training plus extra help.
We need it,
I think it'd be incredibly valuable.
Yeah, and obviously.
Okay.
but for the training wise, I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
Right, that's fair.
so next year,
He let him get on board.
Yeah.
next year, that'll be the issue that
Yeah.
we can talk about. Just cut it off if we want.
It's a joke, showing up is not training.
Yeah, but well, that's why I asked him the question about if we can specialize our training and specify our
Yeah.
training. It doesn't have to just be showing up. Like, you can say to him, we need a training on
And-
X.
And that's why I asked, like, my question was, it seemed to me that he was speaking about, we need to decide what the training is gonna be about, and he's gonna make it as a training session then. which
Yes,
is-
that's
Seems
what-
to make more sense to sit in there and clock
Doing
the
that.
hour, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Okay, we're agreed on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you all saw that what the paper referred to as the capital bond mill levy, which is a misnomer. It's the school's capital improvement mill levy failed. Did you all see
Yeah,
that
but
in the
it didn't
paper?
affect us.
Didn't.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
on there. We would have gotten
Oh, I
money.
didn't realize. we were
Yes,
on.
that will affect us.
I thought it was just Silver Schools.
They are kind enough to include us. They don't have to. They included us, so had it passed,
But
we
one
would have
part
gotten money.
The maintenance part got, I know half of it got passed, and there didn't.
What got passed wasn't maintenance. It's $24 million in bonds for facilities. And I don't believe maintenance is included.
It's to build.
The
a new-
bonds are for building things.
Right.
The SB9 can be used for maintenance.
Okay, but which one passed?
The bond passed, SB9 did not. And the
We
newspaper
were under
reporting was
SB9.
very confusing. So I want to modify a little bit what Hannah said. They are legally required to include us if we ask,
Okay,
and we have asked.
we asked.
And so they were legally required to put us in the bond, in the mill levy measure. And the mill levy measure was on page 2 and had something like 600 fewer votes than the bond measure, which was on page 1. That might be why it didn't pass.
People didn't know.
People didn't know it, and the people who were motivated to vote against things voted against both
Yeah.
things. And the people who were just saying yes didn't bother. That's a possible explanation.
I don't remember seeing the other side.
Could be. So this fiscal year, it's still getting collected by the treasurer and Silver Schools. And this is voluntary on their part because they didn't include us last time, even though they were legally required to.
Ah.
Silver Schools is still paying us. But in FY '26, there will not be SB9 money. That's all I wanted to make sure everybody knew.
For
Which one is
SB9
that?
What were we getting, like 60,000? 50,000?
I don't know how
It's
much.
just
Like,
50 or 60,000 for capital.
For capital
We can buy
improvements.
truck, we can buy vehicles, we have bought vehicles with it.
Right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we can do.
but
It was
it's not
just,
something that will close the school and we stuff.
Oh, no. But it was a chunk of
But
money.
it's a chunk of
that
money,
was
and the
appreciated.
state gives us another 5,000 or some pitiful amount that they won't give us that either. That's called SB9 state match funding.
The match
That
was a
will
lot
go
more
away.
this time. It was like 30% this year,
Wow.
which is why he was pushing it so hard.
Oh, so that will go away also. The president of the board at Silver said that they would put this on another ballot as its own standalone thing without the bond measure. So there's another shot at it, but I don't know when they're gonna do that. And I don't know if you've heard.
I haven't heard, I don't know.
All right, that's all I wanted to say. We're on action items.
And Harry, this didn't make it, I'm just sorry to interrupt, but that thing, it was supposed to be in the policy, remember? It's the one that you're like,
It's there.
this is, it's there?
Oh, we didn't discuss it. We did not discuss it as new business,
Okay.
but it's in the action items as item C.
Okay. So I don't know. That's it, B, item B,
Item B,
but we haven't shared it with anyone. So I'm not sure what you want to
Capital
do with that.
That one?
Capital
Or-
asset,
Listing policy?
yeah, it's a new state requirement. Justine asked that we share it with the GC because it is, for a million reasons, just required. It doesn't necessarily affect us. Harry added it to the agenda, but it's in the action items and we never discussed it with everyone.
sorry about that.
Is
So,
this it?
how do
Yeah.
Justine, will she have heartburn if it doesn't pass?
I
tonight?
think she really wanted it passed, but I don't think we can, you know?
Why?
Well, we can, we're doing it with the
can.
medical
Oh, with the
marijuana
medical.
policy.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
It is one paragraph.
Yeah.
It has to do with how assets are reported and depreciated to the state.
So the new piece is that when you buy a lot of something, each item is small and isn't necessarily a capital asset. Like, let's say we bought 30 laptop computers. The state is saying now they want the whole thing to be listed. We can still have a single item limit, which that is suggesting be 5,000. And then we can add a bulk purchase limit, which she is suggesting 5,000. So if you bought
60.
It says 60.
60, my
It's
bad.
Yeah.
60.
Why did she say 65?
Because we were talking about it and then she sent me sample policy and I
60
copied
it
and
is.
pasted it. That's what we got.
So if we bought, 13 items at 4,900 each, the old way, we wouldn't have to report those as capital assets. The new way, you would have to, because they would be just over 60,000. Does that make sense? Dollars in the total purchase.
So that's the threshold is 60,000.
That's what she's recommending. I see no reason not to go with her recommendation.
Justine.
DeHill. Does that make sense? Okay.
Exciting.
So we've skipped to talk about action item B. Action item A is the bars, and I listed 1 through 8, but it's 1 through 9 without number 2.
Right.
Still 8 bars. Unless somebody has a heartburn with that, I would entertain a motion for approving bars 1 through 9, not counting 2.
I make a motion to approve bars 1 through 9, excluding 2.
Thank you both. Any discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Check mark. Capital asset listing policy as recommended by Justine. Any further discussion on that? AM moved.
Capital asset listing policy.
Sorry, I lost the
No, no, it's as presented.
line. As presented.
Do you have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Second. So just the opposite of it. 18 AM. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, Article C, can I have a motion to table Article C?
Make the motion to table GC bylaw revision.
And I second.
Oh, I heard Sebastiano.
Yeah, that's fine.
Moves table, SM, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of table, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Well done. He's tabled the bylaw.
Yeah, yeah.
Sebastiano, your moment, your
Oh.
time to shine is here.
Okay, so I don't remember which policy was that. The homeless. use
Homeless
policy,
youth, yeah.
I make the motion to modify the homeless use policy at the point. Sorry, to go find it now. To make the modifications at the point C1, removing the words including pre-K and removing the section, the paragraph D from the policy.
So we are doing just item 7, the homeless youth policy, the motion from Sebastiano to approve after striking including pre-K and deleting all of paragraph D.
Yes.
And you seconded, Alex, Kenzie, Sam,
This is a motion to approve.
no,
No,
well,
no, no. The
we're
motion
having
is
to do it separate
modified.
because when I write up the action item, I'm gonna have to write it up with this.
with
And the other ones will say as presented.
Okay.
And I'm doing it because Jim's out of town. Okay, any further discussion on item D7? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Would you like to make a motion on items D1 through 9 excluding 7? Or they can include 10 also if they want. Why not?
Yeah. I'll make the motion to approve the policies 1 through 10, excluding 7
As presented?
as presented.
Second.
Yes, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, beautiful. It's checked.
So the December meeting.
Item E, actually, after Hannah and I both thought it was the 12th for the BEC meeting, we no longer need to discuss December because it might not be the
But
12th.
we need to discuss October.
But she's finishing my sentence for me. Well done. Let us discuss October.
Let me share my screen. Our GC meeting is scheduled during fall break. I suggest that we do it the following week.
What, 17?
That's what I'm pulling
17th.
up right here. There,
Yes, it's the 17th.
17.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, that's okay with you? We don't know about Jim.
We don't know about you.
Sebastiano, works for you?
The 17th for a GEC meeting.
That's correct. Instead of the 10th.
Yes.
Okay, next regularly scheduled GC meeting is then October 17 at 5:30. Please be prepared for a special meeting for the bylaws, once we get Kelly's thoughts.
Don't we have to do something about action item?
I move we strike it from the agenda.
Second.
Okay, never done this before. All those in favor of striking it from the agenda, say aye.
Strike.
Aye.
Say strike.
Because,
Aye.
thank you. Because tabling implies
But we're gonna come back
that
to
we're
it.
gonna come back to it, and we're only gonna come back to it if we need to. Am I right? Maybe we need to anyway because of the conference.
Voted to strike it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
we
let's
can't talk
move
about it
on.
now. It's
We'll
not on the
talk about
agenda.
it later. It's months away.
It is 8:18.
It is
That was a miserable
3
failure.
months.
3 months. That's months. That's plural months.
You had a good
We vote
start.
on that,
in the beginning,
or that was
right?
It was going fast. I thought it was going
No, you
well.
do well. I thought,
No, but there was
oh,
a
man, you're doing a
lot.
good job. You're going quick.
I mean, when you have to go through all, we have to go through all those.
Then we stumbled on the policies
Hold on,
and
let me stop
bylaws.
the
and-
live
It was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot.